Hello again, friends. And you are our friends in or out of Starkville, Mississippi. And welcome back to another edition of Jim Cornette's Drive Thru right here, wherever you find your favorite podcasts. Hope you are well. This may be a forgetful edition of the show. We'll see what we can come up with. We have another big watch-along later on today. Steve Austin versus Bret Hart at Wrestlemania. I would give you the number, but I don't remember off the top of my head what Wrestlemania that was. What was it? Was it 13?
Lucky 13.
13, that's right. But before we get there, we have your questions, which will be answered by the leader of the cult of Cornette. Of course, they are sent in to CornyDriveThru@gmail.com or on Twitter using the hashtag CornyDriveThru. A lot of you like to tweet me and say, hey, I love this show. How do I send in a question? Once again, just start by listening to the show. That's usually the best way to find out how to send in your question. I'm your host, the very pleasant, great Brian Last, and the man who'll be answering your questions, the hot tub champion of the world, Mr. Jim Cornette.
You have completely switched heel. It's funny. Our watch along today is a double turn. Heel switches babyface switches heel, which is what we've done over the last few weeks. You are just completely, whereas I am trying to laugh at some things and being a little bit more pleasant than I normally am in some cases, you have become more and more abrasive. You've gotten more and more heat. You and Charlie from Starkville, this thing y'all got going on. And you're surly is what you are. Is surly Brian Last. Surly Last. Because you've watched too much bad wrestling here lately and you're just pissed off at the world.
Not Shirley, but surly.
No, surely you can't call me surly.
You ever see that really awful movie, Back to the Beach? With Frankie Avalon and Annette Funicello?
Frankie Avalon and Annette, yes. And they were back to what was that that was the 80s, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was the 80s.
Yeah, so it was like 20, 25 years later. Annette didn't look bad.
Some bizarre cameos. Pee Wee Herman and Fishbone, I think, were in there. But the kid... Pee Wee Herman, by the way, was treated very unfairly in court. I'll have you know. You know, that whole thing that happened to him, he wanted originally to serve as his own lawyer because he knew for sure that he could get himself off. See, that's almost as good. You told a joke once. There was a bumper for this show that used to be on, I think, BAU, Adelphi University's radio station. The radio station that launched Chuck D and Public Enemy and Dr. Dre of Dr. Dre and Ed Lover. They had a wrestling show hosted by Dave the Pile Driver Schwartz. And I guess at one of Rezzy's conventions, I guess 91, he went up to you and asked if you can cut a little promo for the show. And you said, hi, this is Jim Cornette. I'm just waiting to eat a Pee Wee Herman sandwich. That's a Reuben, hold the pickle. And that joke has always stayed with me.
Yeah, I did. Yes. But continue on with your thought.
But in the movie, Back to the Beach, by the way, one of the worst movies ever. And it was on nonstop for a while there. The son of Frankie and Annette, he kind of rebels against them, and he announces that he wants to be known as Surly. So then they say, Shirley, you want to be Shirley? And he said, I want to be known as Knife. I said, Nice? You want to be called Nice? And then he gives up and he goes back to being their kid, and by the end he's singing doo-wop with the reunited Happy Beach crew. Barbara Billingsley also in that film.
Thank you, Rex Reed,
and
for that fucking. I was thinking the other day, what would Siskel and Ebert think if both of them were still alive today? I can't remember which one died, and they were having to review movies, and all the modern movies were insulting to their learned tastes. They would feel like Cornette and Last.
They both died, for the record.
Did they? But one went first.
Gene Siskel went first.
Siskel went first. What happened to Ebert?
He had the same... If it wasn't the same, it was similar to what Bobby Heenan had, where I think it was cancer in his mouth or his throat, and they had to give him a prosthetic lower half of his jaw. I'm not sure exactly what it was, but, that's why he stopped doing his show and he would just write in the last years of his life. You could have just said he died and not brought us all fucking even further down than we were already when we started this fucking thing. You could have done that, but you chose not to.
You know, it was so disappointing. There was a time a few years ago, before Bobby Heenan passed, where a Bobby Heenan Twitter account popped up. And it turned out to be fake.
I know.
And it was so
fell for it
unfortunate.
because I fell for it for a minute because somebody that I trusted had said, "Hey, Bobby's on Twitter." And it's, "Oh, okay, Bobby." And then a bunch of people started fucking jumping on that, and I quickly learned it wasn't, and we ran them off.
That would have been the perfect format for Bobby Heenan in his last years. Just one-liners, just shoot them out whenever you want.
But you know what? Here's the thing. Here's the one person in the world it would have driven completely insane. His wife, Cindy. Because she would have been the one. I was in New Jersey for Ring of Honor with Bobby in 2006, I think. And we're at the hotel afterwards. We went down to get something to eat and just bullshit and everything, right? And he had the same phone then that I do now, the flip phone. But it's ringing, and he's like, "Oh, God, hold on." And he answers it. Of course, it's Cindy calling Che after the show, whatever, see how he was. But he told me the story. He said when he first got it, I guess for people who've never seen a flip phone, I guess some of those folks are out there now, the young folks. You had to open the goddamn phone like the Star Trek communicator to see the number of who was calling on the early ones, right? You remember that. You're old enough.
Yeah, I had one for a while.
And what he would try to do is and if you opened it, it would answer automatically. It would say, it's like you're picking up the phone. So he would try to open it just a little bit where he could peek and see what the number was and see who was calling him without actually answering it. And of course that didn't work. And he said, "Look, yeah, I'm the brain, right? I can't even work the fucking phone." So it would have been perfect. The format of Twitter would have been perfect for him, but it probably would have driven Cindy insane because he would have been saying, "Hey, tweet this," or whatever, or writing it down, or as the case may be. Because I don't think he would have, not that he couldn't figure it out, but that he would have the patience to fuck with it before he'd throw it out the window.
Well, welcome to the drive-thru, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. I've got an update. Not back to we're staying away from the beach. We're staying away from the beach and going to the mountains where there's no people. But I have an update from the experience that was released or escaped, just a couple of days ago now. The big marathon experience we did to talk about all the stupid things people had done last week.
By the way, specifically at the beginning of that show, you said this won't be a marathon episode, and then it ended up being almost 4 hours.
It ended up being a marathon episode. Well, I thought we were going to try to get through all these things quickly, but the stupidity upon analysis needed more time to digest fully. But anyway, during that program, I received a phone call from, should I even recap it, or should we just make everybody have to listen to all these shows to know what we're talking about?
Well, to be fair, that would be a difficult segment to find. It's in the middle of a match review that this happened. And we'll probably video of it on YouTube. They have to listen
to the whole goddamn thing and preferably take notes of my programs also, and keep them in binders by month or even week, so you can easily refer to all right, I'll just recap it. So I get a phone call. It's from a toll-free number, and I answer it to tell him off. And I say, "Hello." And the guy said, "It's so-and-so," whatever his name was, from National Pen. And I said, "Well, we're doing a show, and I don't need this fucking shit right now." Boom, because we're in the middle of something. And I hung up on him. But then I happened to tell the people, because the people needed to know, Brian Last, that if you're a customer at Cornette's Collectibles over the past few years, normally, especially if you order a box set of DVDs, or if you order a certain amount of merchandise or whatever, I just have things available. Sometimes we run out, but I've been sending out free Cornette's Collectibles ink pens and keychain flashlights, or even we had the nice pocket knives that went out with the Mid-Atlantic Classic sets for a while. And I was getting those from National Pen because they would send me an advertisement and a sample, and it'd say, "Here, we can give you these," and or not give them to, but we can sell you these for X dollars, cents, whatever. And I would fill out the card and I'd order them, and they'd send them to me, and I'd pay them for them, and then I'd send them out for free. Well, then suddenly, late last year, they started calling me on the phone, wanting to talk to me, leaving me messages. I don't have time to talk to people on the phone that I want to talk to on the phone, much less the people at National Pen. I'm sending in the card. Just send me my shit. I send you a check. And this is the way business operates. A little give and take there, but we don't have to fucking engage in goddamn granular detail about this on the phone. So I've noticed over the past few months, I would send in a card. They wouldn't send me my shit. I would get a phone call. But I wouldn't, obviously, since I don't talk to these people, I don't know what they were calling about, but they weren't. I've sent in 3 or 4 cards over the past few months, and they have sent me nothing. This is why people have been getting no freebies here, because I ran out of freebies. And then after that, I explained that, you made mention of the fact that they were on Twitter. We don't need now to reveal their Twitter handle, because the subject apparently has been settled, because wouldn't you know who won the pony, Brian? I would say within 12 hours of that show airing, I received the first of my confirmation emails. I've gotten 2 or maybe 3 so far.
No way.
That my order was on its way.
Amazing.
So I'm hoping that if they send me everything that I've ordered over the last few cards that I've sent in, that I'll be able to send some nice keychains and ink pens out to the Cornette's Collectibles customers of a certain level, a certain cachet. There's not even a level. It's just, if what you order has to go in a box, you're probably getting something free.
For the record,
we'll do it like that.
The show you're discussing came out yesterday. Came out less than 24 hours ago.
Well, there you go. So I looked at my email this morning, and son of a gun, I had a couple of ponies there. Your order's on its way. I can't say that possibly several people tweeting to them, send Jim Cornette his shit so that we can get our free shit, had anything to do with it. But, but suddenly it seems coincidental. But anyway, and if you are a customer of Cornette's Collectibles at JimCornette.com, you'll be happy to know that all the domestic orders through August the 4th are in the mail, and the international orders through August the 4th will be going out tomorrow, and that we are working steadily on the orders from the 5th through whatever fucking day this is, yesterday, as you're hearing this is, and that's going to go out starting later on this week. But we do have a new record. A lot of people have been mentioning, I get tweets, I got my package in the UK after such and such amount of time, One guy, I won't mention the poor man's name, he's got PTSD over this anyway. He recently got his package, the United States, the United Kingdom, 118 days. So, but now a lot of people are getting their shit in a couple of weeks like they used to. But apparently, not only is President Pig shit sabotaging the post office here in this country, but also the COVID has slowed down customs in a lot of cases, and it's hit and miss. So I'm just being honest about the international orders, folks. We're taking them and we're sending them out. But after that, it's out of my hands. They get there eventually. We've only had one that's been completely, irretrievably, irrevocably lost that I can think of. 1 or 2 out of all those hundreds. So, but they take a while. But anyway, JimCornette.com. All right, this is your show now.
All right, well, let's start with a happy question.
Well, wait a minute. Before we do that, I got an email following up something else that was on the experience this past week. See, I actually prepare for these things. We talked about the football fetish that a lot of the guys have when whether it was WCW or WWFE or TNA or whenever a pro football player shows up, because so many of the promoters, office members, and the guys themselves are football marks, that they tend to lose their minds and put the football player over like the wrestler should be in trouble when they face each other, rather than not only doing what's good for business and making the football player seem the sympathetic figure who's a man and tough, but he's in over his head in a wrestling environment, or the thing that makes actual legitimate sense, which is in a legitimate contest, a high-level wrestler, a professional, is going to be able to just stretch the shit out of any football player unless they have a high-level wrestling background. And I think almost everybody in the NFL would agree with that. Would you not think? For fuck's sake, everybody knows that. Now, they may think it's a pro wrestler and he's phony. Well, if he is phony, he couldn't stretch him in a shoot. But a high-level wrestler who you would think a professional would honestly be able to stretch the shit out of most normal pro football players. I think this is common knowledge, correct? Because it's a completely different fucking sport.
It's common knowledge to a point. I'm sure there are many football players who think, oh, I can go take those wrestlers.
Well, yeah, and once again, if they're, with the beer bottle at the bar after a few drinks, then yes, it's the game on. But if we're talking about much the same as a wrestler trying to play football at the pro football player's level and would be in over his head unless he had a high-level college or pro football background, the same thing would apply if in a legitimate shoot, which this is all supposed to be, a professional football player was trying to wrestle a wrestler. But the point I was making is that so many times, because the guys are marks and because all the people in the wrestling business suddenly lose their minds when they get a chance to feature a football player and lose track of what they're doing because they know, well, that's real. They're real. Yeah, but dummy. So are you. You're supposed to be. So anyway, we made this mention when talking about the Pat McAfee and Adam Cole thing, where now Pat McAfee is not only the heel, but also knocked out Adam Cole colder than a banker's heart before they even have the match. So Andrew from Chattanooga sent this comment in because I've said I don't know anything about football, but the logic of this was off to me. And Andrew says, Jim, you're absolutely right about the football fetish. As a football fan, however, I have to point out one thing you missed about this whole shit show of an angle. Pat McAfee was a punter. Punters in the football world have been presented forever as not real athletes who can't hold the jock of the real important players. And this jackoff is being presented as a threat to the top guy of NXT for over a year. So even if a football player is supposed to be real, it's a fucking punter. This just sucks because the guy isn't a wrestler and even by football logic isn't even a fucking athlete. Fuck this match. Adam Cole deserves better. So apparently the punters aren't even the tough guys on the football team.
Well, let's not generalize everyone under that banner. I mean, again, I said last time, he's not Lawrence Taylor. He's not even Steve McMichael. He's not that level of star. But he's certainly an athlete. Let's not put him down and say that he's...
I know. He's an athlete, and he has to do all the football training things that football training people do. Yes, I understand it. But once again, you've still...
I'm not justifying bringing him in and having him go over any wrestlers. I'm not justifying that.
I'm not even talking about the finish. I'm talking about the way that it's sold. You don't want to bring in a big-time pro sports superstar and just beat him and make him look bad. But at the same time, you need to resist your markish inclinations, football fans in wrestling power, positions, to fawn over the football player at the expense of the wrestler that's going to be working for you when the football player goes back playing football. And it's been done properly with, Dr. Death Steve Williams was pushed from the start in Mid-South, but people forget he was not only an All-American football player, he was an All-American wrestler too at a major, American college. So no, you don't have to present that guy as being in over his head with a pro wrestler. But Lawler and Memphis got a couple of guys from the old, who had the Memphis showboats? What was it, USFL?
USFL, yeah.
Okay, well, there you go. See, I know this because of the wrestling connection. There was a couple of minor league football leagues that had teams in Memphis, and he got a guy named Ron Mikulogic and a guy named Mike Stark. And that's where they brought them in as big, huge fucking guys, obviously professional athletes and local celebrities, But then Lawler would cut the promo mocking him and making fun of him. And you're in over your head when you come to get in the wrestling business. You quit football because your knees got hurt. Well, your knees can get hurt in wrestling too, right? And this was with Mikulovic, I think, or was it Stark? I came interchangeable, a few years apart. But anyway, he fucking tells the fucking football player off, and the football player says, well, we'll fucking find out, when the match comes about or whatever. And he starts to leave, and Lawler takes a fucking chair and fucking kneecaps him with the metal folding chair. Your knees can get hurt in wrestling just like football, boy. And you get heat on the fucking heel that's going to face the football player and make the football player look not only like he's in over his head in a wrestling environment, but he's still a big, tough man, but he's sympathetic. And then when you give him the match, then you figure out some way to put the fucking football player over without making the wrestler look bad. But you give the people what they paid for in the end. But you don't just, oh, God, it's Pat McAfee. Adam Cole's going to be fucked in this one. That's just putting guest stars over your main stars, and other sports being portrayed as tougher or more legitimate or more difficult than your own, which is, I don't think any fucking makes any sense whatsoever. But that's just me.
Steve Williams played for the USFL.
Yes, he did. Did he? At New Jersey Generals, I think, wasn't it?
That's right.
I know that because of the wrestling connection.
Jeff Gaylord was in the USFL.
Well, and see, not all fucking USFL football players can be introduced to wrestling with a lot of fanfare.
Yeah, there was a wild story about him in the book. There's a great book, Football for a Buck, and it had a Jeff Gaylord story in there. And it's always weird reading about wrestling personalities in non-wrestling books.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
All right, this is your fucking show.
Well, let's get a happy question, as I said before, to start things out. This question was sent to CornyDriveThru at gmail.com from the noted wrestling historian Tom Burke.
Tom Burke. And as a matter of fact, he's another person. He sent me a package a while back. Tom, if you're listening, and I'm going to send you something in return, but of course I'm always behind and have not done it yet. But I love Tom Burke. What a historian and collector.
And he has, along with someone like you, one of the great wrestling offices still out there. He has like a mini museum in his house.
Yes. I wouldn't even call it mini.
Well, it's just a museum. That's true. That's true.
There you go.
That's true. It's actually one of the biggest wrestling museums out there, technically. His question is, name 5 wrestlers or promoters and managers who you never got a chance to meet that you wish you had.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Gee, just 5 promoters, from anywhere in history? Or just in my lifetime? Or how could we narrow this down? I mean, my God, I would have loved to, sit down and fucking, discuss goddamn booking wrestling philosophy with Toots Mondt or whatever. But how can we narrow this down a little bit? Who have I...
You never met Brody, right?
Yes, I met Brody. But he came into Dallas one night while we were there to visit the Fantastics, because Bobby Fulton and he were friends from Japan. So I met him technically, but he wasn't working on the card. And it was just, hi, hello, nothing major. I'm trying to think of people that I have not met, major wrestling personalities that I have not cut. Every once in a while, I make mention of those because a question comes in about one of them just at random. And I say, I never actually met him.
Did you ever meet Frank Tunney?
Never met Frank Tunney. Met Jack Tunney, obviously. Didn't meet Frank Tunney, the Toronto promoter. I never got a chance. Obviously, this would have to be the one. What the fuck am I thinking about? Never got the chance to meet Eddie Graham. Or work for him, or just, never actually saw a show in person that he was responsible for, because I never went to Florida. And then when I got in the business, by the time I got there, he was gone. So that would be a big one.
Did you ever meet Nick Goulas?
No. There you go. Never met Nick Goulas and never met Roy Welch. So there's 1, 2, 3. Just because I mean, I guarantee you, I did not hear any names of any wrestlers more in the formative years of my fandom watching television here in Louisville than I heard the names Nick Goulas and Roy Welch, but mainly because of Nick. Because he had the announcers mention them constantly. Their names were on everything. The NWA logo, Nick Goulas Welch Wrestling Enterprises. He did his own local promos when I first started watching the show. Even though it was Jarrett's town, they did the promos on, I believe, Wednesday mornings in Nashville at the TV station. Scott Teal might be able to correct me. But Nick hosted them all himself until, well, finally Jarrett started, having Lance do some for the Louisville TV that aired up here. But still, we got Nick's interviews pretty much until Jarrett split off from him. And Nick was a glory hound. Whereas I never met Roy Welch, because if he did go to any of the matches, you never even saw him. He would go to Louisville, Jarrett told me, but he'd be back in the locker room. He'd be in Memphis, but he wouldn't go out in front of the people. Whereas Nick went to Nashville and Birmingham, and he was standing out in the front lobby. Bobby Eaton used to tell me, and so did Teeny. On a big house, a big night, when they're trying to get the people in to start, Nick would be out in front at the Boutwell in Birmingham or the goddamn Nashville Fairgrounds. He'd be cussing people. Go on, hurry up, get the hell in there. Go on, hurry up. Go this way, go that way, boy. What's the matter with you? And it was just, they were so completely different. You never saw or heard from Roy Welch. He was just in the locker room, and Nick was constantly putting his name out in front of people.
What about Tony Lanza?
The noted wrestling photographer. No, never met Tony Lanza. I don't know that I would put him on he was a wonderful photographer. I don't know I'd put him on the list of 5 people that I would desperately want to meet in the wrestling business. I'm trying to think also, let's see, Jesus Christ. I got to meet Buddy Rogers. At Arezzi's Weekend of Champions. Didn't get to, sit down and pick his brain for 6 years or whatever. Give me some more ideas.
Haystack Calhoun.
I actually met Haystacks Calhoun.
Really?
He worked for whatever reason. He was booked in the Memphis territory for a week in, I think, March of 1977. He was on a card in Louisville. I have a nice posed picture of him in the ring, and I got to shake his hand as he was walking by. And that had to be like the year or the year before he retired, I would think.
Antonio Inoki.
Never met Antonio Inoki. Nor Giant Baba before you go there. Actually, no, yes, I have. What am I talking about?
He was at the Crockett Cup.
He was at the Crockett Cup, and he was at a couple of, I met him at the Crockett Cup, but he was at a couple of Carolina's events when they would go through and the World Pro Wrestling show would be shooting. But, I'm fucking Jim Cornette. This is goddamn Giant Baba. I wasn't seeking him out. This was before that crazy handshake thing started. I was like, if Giant Baba needs me, much like the fucking, Prime Minister of England or whoever the fuck, he'll call for me. And they were in meetings with Crockett and et cetera, he and whoever came with him, so I didn't bother them. And this was before everybody had a camera in their pocket where you could have pictures taken, so.
Maybe I'm just not thinking of when and where, but did you ever meet Vern?
No. There you go. There's another one. Never met Vern Gagne. We were never in the same place at the same time. Heard plenty of stories, and obviously, spent a lot of time with Nick Bockwinkel and some of the guys that worked up there for so long, but never got to meet Vern. So I'd put that up there because goddamn, he was one of the 5 biggest wrestling stars of the modern era since television began, when you have to think about it overall, with his influence and how he was one of the highest paid athletes in the United States in the 50s. He was one of the 3 biggest wrestling stars because of the U.S. title and the Dumont Network, Chicago. He started his own company that became as big as geographically as any territory ever in the United States. He was world champion of his own company, but that company ran and competed for longer. It was one of the first territories started, one of the last to go out of business, and had national TV for a number of years in that time. So, yeah, Vern was fucking huge.
Mike LaBelle.
Oh, come on. Now we're getting... no, I never met fucking Treacherous Phillips either. But we're getting awful fucking,
Mario Galento.
No, never met Mario Galento. That would have been strange.
Buddy Fuller?
Yes. I've not only met Buddy Fuller, I've taken pictures of Buddy Fuller and actually seen Buddy Fuller wrestle. And he looked and wrestled just like Ron and Robert. Tall, long arms, long legs, stiff punches, and just a fucking old. Every time he laid his hands on you, it looked like it hurt. He was one of those old time fucking guys that shit was going to look legitimate. I watched him with I think it was, oh goddamn, who was it that first time he came in? It was with Barnes and Dundee. In 75, he looked like Dundee should have been bald-headed when Buddy Fuller grabbed one handful of his hair. Come to think of it, I shouldn't have. Ron and Robert were actually a lot easier to work with probably than Buddy. I don't mean he was hard to work with. He was just painful to work with because that shit looked good, boy.
You obviously never met the Grand Wizard.
No, I did not. Never met the Grand Wizard.
Vince Sr.?
No, I did not.
You worked on a show with him, but did you meet the Sheik?
Yes, not only I have met the Sheik a couple of different times because I not only worked the Kobo show with him, but I was on an independent show with him in the early 90s. Where was I? I have a picture with him. I marked out there. Somebody, but Hildebrand was there. Mark Curtis. I said, you got your camera. I got to get a picture with the Sheik. And I did promos for him when he did that, the match in the Kobo for Crockett. They said, go, I said, I actually brought it up. I said, can I mention the Sheik's match? Because they didn't have the heel side to speak for him. And I said, yeah. And I did the promos, and Kevin Sullivan, because he was friends with Sheik, he came in the next week or whatever. So I talked to Sheik. He saw the promos because it was for Detroit, the local station. He loved them. And I'm getting goosebumps right now, right? The Sheik liked my promos. Holy, is this, what universe is this? He said, here's his number. He said, call him. Holy fuck. I did. I called him and asked for Sheik like I was told to. They said, don't ask for Ed. He'll fucking hang up on you. Is Sheik there? I told him who I was. He was hard to understand on the phone because he talked so quick. But he loved the promos because he always loved having a manager that would talk for him and kind of set the fucking atmosphere. And I did the whole fucking thing. It's like Halloween early, the night he came home. The Sheik returns to the Kobo. Is anyone safe? That type of thing. He loved that shit. So I actually got to in a remote way, manage the Sheik one time.
Mark Lewin.
I have met Mark Lewin. Where was it? God damn it.
Yeah, where would it have been? He didn't appear in Dallas when you were there. He was already done in Crockett by the time you got to Crockett.
You know what? It was at a goddamn fan fest here in the last 15 years somewhere. That's where I met Mark Lewin. I think. Because it was just quick, as I recall. Kevin Sullivan loves him. He used to love to work with Mark.
Before the WWF show, I think it was In Your House where they brought back the Legends of St. Louis Wrestling. Before that show, had you ever met Sam Mushnick or Jack Briscoe?
Oh, God. Well, I'd never met. That's the only time to this day I ever met Sam Mushnick. I met Jack Briscoe in my car in 1981. I took him to the airport after a match in Memphis. He had a late night flight. No, I first met Briscoe I took pictures of, I didn't get to meet him, but I took pictures of his match with Ron Fuller here in Louisville. And then I met him the second time I saw him in 77 in Memphis when he worked with Lawler. I met him briefly just to shake hands. But then several times when he would come in to the Tennessee territory. Before I got into business, he was on the card, but I met him in either taking pictures or taking him to the airport. So yeah, just like Jack, or just like Jerry, rather, just, a great guy, had the fucking rumbly voice, but was soft spoken, very nice, matter of fact, very, high quality human being, which you would have had to been to hold that fucking belt and work that schedule for, what was it, almost 4 years. No, he was almost 3. Dory was almost 4. We went over that in a previous episode.
All right, well, I think because I'm racking my brain, I can't think of any other major names of the last 40 years. I mean, you met Hogan when he first started. You obviously knew Flair and all the top NWA guys. You finally got to work with Piper in 94.
Yeah. I'll work on that, Tom. I'll make a list and I'll include it in my package when I get back to you.
Who from wrestling's past, from before your time as a fan, if you had to pick 5 people to sit down and talk with, who would they be?
Oh, good Lord. Dory Funk Sr.
Ooh, good one.
Because, well, when you think about it, and he's the one who trained Eddie Graham. The lineage actually goes back to, you got to think that Dory Funk Sr. was probably the booking genius of modern times, because even though Eddie Graham gets the credit, where did he learn that stuff? Yes, he learned from Dr. Jerry Graham and from Vince Sr. in Capitol Wrestling, but the idea of creating believable conflict between two people and giving the people a reason to come back over and over again in a territory like West Texas for all those years and having that kind of reputation, Dory Funk Sr. had to be a master of psychology. Small markets, but drew money for years. Weekly towns, out in the middle of nowhere, but some of the biggest stars were either came through there, were trained there, or sent there to learn. He had so much influence, the smallest territory in terms of geography and probably markets in the NWA, but both of his sons were champion and he had to fucking vote. He had a vote as one of the senior NWA members for years and years. The Sheik would come in and work for him. He could get fucking Vince Sr. on the phone. Eddie Graham was one of his disciples. He had somebody in every territory that he had touched or trained or was beholden to him in some kind of way. And all he wanted to do was run fucking his Amarillo territory because that's where he lived. And he did it for his first match there was in 1948. And he was the fucking boss when he died in 73. So, that would be a good one. God, let's see. Fuck, I never met Antonino Rocca either. I don't know if I'd want to sit down and talk with him.
Yeah, probably wouldn't understand him.
Right, it would be a bunch of bullshit about how great he was. Let me work on that one too, for fuck's sake.
Okay.
Goddamn, because then I'm just gonna blur, and then a bunch of people are gonna tweet me and say, "Well, what about so and so?" And it will be so fucking apropos, and I didn't think of it. Oh, and by the way, we were talking the other day about Jannetty, about wrestlers that killed people and still had a career, and 8,642 people tweeted Snuka. We didn't bring him up. So, because you have those brain farts when, on the sperm of the moment.
He's maybe wrestling's most notorious murderer who had a career after the fact.
And we didn't, the obvious choice. That's like name a brand of tissue. And we said Puffs instead of Kleenex.
All right. Well, in a Puff,
I'll tell you what, here's the thing. Here is the thing. And you brought this up with this subject. All these people, because people have asked me, who would you like to? I would have loved to have managed Bockwinkel and Stevens. I would have loved to manage the Fargo brothers in Madison Square Garden against Rocca and Perez. If you could take different times and moments in history and put them all together, where somebody that was around in the 80s, somebody's around in the 50s. Imagine the dream card that is in my Behind the Curtain graphic novel, where I had a Time Machine Wrestling Federation and took all the great names and matched them up to see what would happen. Londos versus Cena, and on and on. Well, you can almost do that now You could even do this with wrestling if you wanted to. The folks at paintyourlife.com, now that I'm thinking about it, could fix us up. Because, yes, they can take any family picture and they can make a world-class painting out of it, every detail perfect. The world-class artists that work on these things make them handmade, custom-made, hand-painted, right? You can do yourself, your kids, your family, your pet, your grandparents, your parents, whatever the case. Or you can combine pictures, different pictures, into one painting. If Grandpa wasn't around when little Johnny was born, now they can be together in the same picture. This is what the idea is. We've been talking about this. But for our audience, this is even better. Fuck Grandpa. To hell with little Johnny. They can actually, when you think about it, take pictures of great wrestlers from down through history and combine them in one painting by a world-class artist. So you could actually get your own personal Mount Rushmore of
Jack Pfeffer's Last Supper.
Jack Pfeffer. I would love to have talked to Jack Pfeffer. He wouldn't have sat down with me as long as Miss Jarrett was around because she threatened to kill him one time in Nashville. But imagine this. You can do your own Mount Rushmore of wrestlers because the folks at paintyourlife.com, and yes, if you do have that mushy quality and that thing that people call compassion and a heart, you can get family pictures and loved ones and cherished ones and get gifts for other people of their same. But for our hard-hearted bastards that listen to this program, you can get your favorite wrestler or your 4 favorite wrestlers, the Mount Rushmore, whatever. They will take any picture and turn it into a professional hand-painted portrait. It makes a perfect gift, or you can just buy something for yourself, because if you're bypassing the family and saying, fuck Grandpa, you're a greedy bastard, so you're probably just going to want to do this for yourself. But anyway, paintyourlife.com. What a great idea. They're affordable, and they're guaranteed. There's absolutely no risk. If you don't love the final painting, your money is refunded. And right now, as a limited time offer, you can get 20% off the painting and free shipping by texting the word DRIVE, D-R-I-V-E, to 64,000. That's 64 with 3 zeros behind it. DRIVE to 64,000, 20% off your painting and free shipping. The folks at paintyourlife.com are going to help you celebrate the moments that matter the most, or make your own Mount Rushmore of pro wrestling stars from throughout history. See, I just thought of that. They're going to... What the fuck do you think these people are going to think, Brian, when suddenly they think, well, what the fuck? Everybody's family is all professional wrestlers? Because you know they're going to get a bunch of these now.
I look forward to seeing the results. Hopefully tweet them out at us, and
yes,
I'd really like to see those. I have a follow-up for you.
Okay, please do.
I got my copy of Football for a Buck by Jeff Pearlman here. A fantastic book. You don't have to be a football fan to enjoy this book. Jeff Pearlman also wrote one of the best baseball books ever, The Bad Guys Won, about the 1986 Mets. But here's a short section from page 31 into page 32. Perhaps the best training camp narratives belong to a pair of Boston Breakers. First, there was Jeff Gaylord, a nose tackle and former 4th-round draft pick of the Los Angeles Rams, who, while attending the University of Missouri from 1978 to 1982, went on a 5-month cocaine binge that, he recalled, fried my brain, agreed to fill in for an absent male stripper at the nightclub where he worked as a bouncer. Gaylord purchased a tin of green paint, coated his body head to toe, and nicknamed himself the Incredible Hulk. That night, he was arrested for indecent exposure and fined $50. Filled his body with every imaginable steroid and steroid knockoff, and served as a certified chiropractor who arrived early to the stadium to crack his teammates' backs before games. Now, you would think that's where it ended because there's nothing else wrestling related, but let me finish this just looking through this. This is funny. The other breaker of note was Billy Don Jackson, a one-time standout defensive end at UCLA, who arrived in camp less than 4 months after wrapping an 8-month stay at the LA County Jail and Wayside Honor Rancho for manslaughter. On October 27th, 1980, Jackson allegedly killed 28-year-old Mark Bernalac in an argument over marijuana. The quote, "I remember being told that Billy Don beat the man to death with a tennis racket during a drug deal gone bad," said David Canteo, who covered the Breakers for the Boston Herald. "Well, the day I interviewed him, they set us up in a private room, and I turned around and I noticed a pile of tennis rackets stacked up against the wall near his chair." So there it is. Somehow it tied into Cornette at the very end. Death by tennis racket.
See, for all those people who say that's a bullshit gimmick, it just depends on which direction you swing it.
Well, let's stay on that topic. Got a couple questions about this that's come in. Let me read both of these questions, or at least let me read two of these questions. This one was sent in on Twitter using the hashtag CornyDriveThru. It is from Southpaw's Radio. What are your thoughts about Booker T's recent comments about Dixie Carter having parties with the boys and, quote, living her MILF dream? Does this give credibility to similar comments Scott Hall made a few years ago on Shoot Interviews? And then another question sent to CornyDriveThru@gmail.com from Jason from Toledo. I'm a longtime listener and cult member. I was listening to the Booker T podcast. Booker stated that Dixie Carter was a MILF and she was dipping her pen in the company ink. I was wondering if Jim knew anything about this.
Wait a minute now. Wouldn't Dixie be the ink well instead of the pen?
I was wondering if Jim knew anything about this. Was Dixie known to sleep with talent? Was she a party girl? I'm curious if these accusations are true.
Oh, good Lord. I don't know what Scott Hall said, and Scott Hall would have... the double-edged sword about Scott Hall is he'd have more insight into this than most folks because of his friendship with Kevin Nash and other people who had been at the top of the TNA organization, on top of the TNA organization, or on top of whatever in TNA.
The Company Inc.
The Company Inc. But also, you know, it goes back to, can you always believe everything? The words that are coming out of Scott Hall's mouth. I myself, as Dennis Condrey, I will paraphrase what he once said. I never saw a penis and vagina merge together. However, what I've talked about is that Dixie was just so impressed about being an executive and about having this wrestling company and about having this talent. And you would invariably see when you came back to the DoubleTree across from Universal Studios where we taped the fiascos, you'd come back to the DoubleTree as you're walking to the elevators, go to your room or whatever. In the bar, restaurant, in the lobby, you would invariably see Dixie surrounded by a number of the people that loved to sit there and pour her another glass of wine and tell her how great she was. And Nash was there plenty, and there was a whole, and that was the only time Russo wasn't sucking up, because Russo's such a fucking puss, he won't even go in a bar. And he's probably one of those, like the fucking idiot vice president we got that doesn't go anywhere where there's females around unless his wife accompanies him. But that was time for the boys to take over, and they're all sitting around her, telling her how great she is and pouring her another glass of wine and putting her over. And you could tell she appreciated all of that attention. So I'm not saying that there was or wasn't anything inappropriate sexually going on, but it was definitely who the fuck is going to, and a lot of it showed in who was then featured in this company or things that were done, who was going to go and put this douchebag over as something special when she was in over her head, as we mentioned, the fence post turtle, and had no idea what was going on. And that's why she loved to listen to charming people that she thought knew what the fuck they were talking about, whether it was Kevin Nash pouring wine in the, a bar of the DoubleTree, or Russo fawning over her and acting like he's a wrestling genius. And she had no ability to ascertain which was which or who knew what, because she didn't know what the fuck was going on with the wrestling business. So there you have it. I'm not saying she was a hooer, as Frank Reynolds might say. But at the same time, what the fuck?
I have a quote.
No, go ahead.
I have a quote from Booker T. I don't know what Dixie was doing half the time. I know she was hanging out in the bar, hanging out with the boys. When you were hanging out with the boys, the water might get hot. You understand what I'm saying? I don't know what Dixie was doing, but she seemed like she was living out her MILF dream. Serious, man. Dixie was getting busy. I'm not going to say what she was doing, but Dixie was definitely, how do you say it back in the day? Hot to trot? I don't know. She had the makeup and everything on. I don't know how much writing she was doing for the show. And it goes on from there.
Wait a minute. She wasn't doing any writing for the show.
Well, according to AJ, it was her behind everything and not Russo.
Christ's sake. Oh, well, but coming back.
Was she sleeping with AJ? Yes or no?
Oh, for God's sake, no. Are you completely out of your mind? If you said that in front of AJ Styles, his face would turn red and he would get pissed because he'd be embarrassed because he's a Christian.
I wouldn't care.
But,
you brought up people getting pushed on TV.
I guarantee you. There are a few things in life that I can guarantee you, but AJ Styles messing around on his wife, much less with Dixie Carter, would probably be one of those I can pretty fucking much dismiss.
What about America's Most Wanted?
Well, well, no, wait a minute. I was trying to remember. No, goddamn it, stop it. Now you've gone completely off the rails here. I was trying to remember what the Storm's partner's name was. Poor goddamn Chris Harris. It took me a second. That's what I was trying to remember. I mean, I don't think so. I can't speak for Chris Harris. James Storm never brought it up to me, and and I never saw anything. He was not one of the people sucking up. At that time, he was one of the guys doing all the fucking work. The Storms and Harrises and fucking Rudes and Bobby Roode, that is, not Rick Rude. And Samoa Joe and AJ and Daniels, those guys were doing all the work. And the other guys that were the WWE fucking Over the Hill gang were doing all the sucking up because they were getting all the money. So I don't think America's Most Wanted. No, but the point with Booker T, you're getting hot to trot here. Dixie Carter just loved attention, and she obviously thought herself quite beautiful. I've told the story. She was flying in from Texas for one of the TV tapings. This was before she was ever an on-air performer or character or whatever. She just came to most of the tapings, not all, but most at this time. But I remember they had a makeup room in one of the soundstage, the buildings. If you've ever been at Universal Studios, and I'm now too inside baseball, but there's offices and you go outside, and then there's production rooms and you go outside and there's a soundstage and they got the blah, blah, blah. They always set a makeup room for the knockouts, the girls, in this same area. And one day I'm standing there because it's a hallway. You go into it as the hallway where the production meeting is had. And one of the stooges, office stooges, I can't remember who, just somebody that worked in the office, is running in with a fucking headset and going, I got to clear the makeup room. What do you mean? Dixie Carter had phoned from either the plane or the airport saying her plane was late. When she landed, she was going to come straight from the airport, and she wanted to make sure that she could get into the makeup chair immediately with no waiting, because the show was going to start momentarily after that, and she had to have her makeup and hair done so that she could go out with the fans and take her pictures holding the title belt with the fans that she did before most of the tapings at Universal Studios. So they kicked the girls that were actually on the show out of the fucking makeup chair and put Dixie in so she could get prepped for that, to go out and take pictures with the fans.
Carrie Silkin used to do the same thing.
Oh, come on now.
Let me ask you a couple more things on this.
And also, you remember she actually was trying to pitch And it was Spike. They're lucky they got this fucking show on Spike because Spike wanted a wrestling show, and that's barely what they got. And I've told you how that it was so embarrassing when the Spike representative would be sitting there in the production meeting and have to listen to this fucking falderall be read by Mike Tenay that Shitstain had written, and the words were misspelled, and they didn't know how to answer any questions. And then the Spike rep would go and play golf all afternoon and come back and watch the taping, make sure nobody said fuck on the air. She was trying to pitch The Real Housewives of Nashville, starring guess who? Dixie Carter and her husband Serge. Serge would have been the Brandy Rhodes of Real Housewives of Nashville. So I don't know if Dixie was actually, bumping uglies, stuffing the muffin, however you want to fucking phrase it. But she just wanted attention.
Let me ask you two more things on this topic. Because Scott Hall really started this whole thing years ago saying that he found out Dixie was fucking the boys.
But which boys?
Kevin Nash was seen many times in the hotel drinking wine with Dixie. Did you ever hear anything when you were there about Kevin Nash and Dixie?
No. But that doesn't mean, here's the thing is if Kevin Nash is married and lived 90 miles down the road, so I'm sure if it happened, he wouldn't want that getting out. And, is Dixie going to fucking come in the next day and fucking divine herself and stooge herself off and go, yeah, by the way, Kevin, great job last night. So, things can happen, but no, there was no raging goddamn rumor. Just the obvious talk that I heard was everybody sees Kevin Nash sitting there next to Dixie, pouring wine in the fucking glass and telling her how great she is. That was the scuttlebutt.
Nothing between Jeff Jarrett and Dixie?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
Okay. I think we've tackled this topic.
People always, especially when she's, the fucking modern day Ann Gunkel, except without the product knowledge, people are naturally going to assume in the wrestling business, that's the same reason why they think that Tommy Rich had to do shit for Jim Barnett to get the belt. Because they're going to say that because that's what you say. But and sometimes it happens, but without legitimate. Jerry Jarrett used to swear to me that Shitstain was fucking her. Jerry Jarrett would swear to me, believed it with all his heart because he hadn't been around. He was not around Russo in a one-on-one situation like I was before it became completely untenable about 6 months into our relationship. And he just didn't pay enough attention to the fucking human being behind the idiot to know that I said it's not that I would think that Dixie wouldn't do it. It's that Russo wouldn't be brave enough to do it. He would not know under no uncertain terms. He told me one time in 1999 or whatever, he'd never been with a woman but his wife. And that we were both nearly 40 at the time. They were high school sweethearts. I found that to be the most incomprehensible thing that another adult male human being had ever said to me, and immediately determined that this man was born on the planet Pluto. However, no, he charmed her the same way that he charmed other people by impressing an idiot with no product knowledge that he had knowledge of the product. But he did not bed the MILF of Nashville, did Shitstain. But Jerry Jarrett believed, because he said, how else can you explain this? I said, because he's good when he's talking to people that don't know what he's talking about, and she's gullible. And there you have it.
It's the same thing with Bret and Shawn. That was the explanation you heard from people. How can you explain this? How can you explain Vince letting Vince letting Shawn get away with all this? It's the same. I'm not saying it's true, but it's the same. When people get exhausted of just thinking, why does this keep happening? Why is this allowed? That's where their mind goes.
Straight to the gutter.
Straight to the gutter. I haven't heard the phrase hot to trot in quite a while. I don't know why.
I think that was a song by the Ohio Players in the 1970s, for fuck's sake. I'll tell you, you know what? This question that I've just answered, Brian Last, it makes me realize that there is a lot of people involved in professional wrestling that could do with some experienced professional counseling. Would you agree?
Certainly. Especially people who worked for TNA, yes.
Yes, and I agree that the 3 years that I spent there made me a candidate for some good counseling. Well, folks, now, whether you're just a wrestling fan that watches bad wrestling or whether you're in the wrestling business and it's made you completely insane, now there's a place to call without leaving your homes, folks. In all seriousness, if you need help, if you need somebody to talk to, the folks at BetterHelp, we've been talking about them for ages now. BetterHelp, H-E-L-P. BetterHelp is not a crisis line. It's professional counseling done securely and online or by phone. You get matched up with a licensed professional therapist. You can start communicating under 48 hours. They've got a broad range of expertise, and they're available worldwide. We've been asked that, not just the United States. You can log into your account anytime, send a message to your counselor. You get timely responses. You can do weekly video or phone sessions. There's no waiting rooms if you're in the rural areas and there's nobody either available to talk to or you want to talk to because everybody knows everybody in Pixley. This solves the whole problem. Anyway, you can visit their website and read the testimonials. They post them all the time. Visit BetterHelp.com, and when you go to BetterHelp.com, /drive, betterhelp.com/drive, and you get 10% off your first month's offer at betterhelp.com. If you go to betterhelp. And where does the /drive go, Brian?
What do you mean, where does it go?
Well, once you go to betterhelp.com, do you have to put /drive in, or do you put drive in the search bar? We usually get more instructions.
I think it's betterhelp.com/drive.
Well, there you go. But you can do that and get 10% off your first month. Betterhelp.com/drive. Join the over 1 million people taking charge of their mental health with the help of an experienced professional. If you have PTSD from working for TNA, especially, maybe we can, if you call me, we can try to give you 20% off, but everybody else gets 10% off at betterhelp.com.
Well, another topic that has suddenly become very popular. It looks like we've gotten dozens of emails just in the last 24 hours about this. Well, a little bit more than 24 hours. I'll read one of them.
What do you think, 27 and a half?
Well, maybe, but here's one of the questions. Sent to CornyDriveThru@gmail.com from James in Cardiff. Just wanted to get your thoughts on Fozzy doing a concert this weekend to a packed crowd with no social distancing whatsoever. My view, Jericho is an absolute cockwomble. And apparently several...
Now, I think that's an insult to cockwombles. He is more of a felch-gargling blundercunt.
Well, several people have sent different things in. I guess Fozzy has now played a few shows, and either they just played or they're just about to play the Sturgis Motorcycle Rally, which seems like such a mistake. I mean, why would they do that?
Well, I mean, I wasn't even aware that concerts were being allowed to be held. Why would you go to a concert? Why would you have a concert? Why would you play a concert and gather a bunch of people together to breathe and spit on each other? And especially in Sturgis, I just saw the thing on the news. The people in Sturgis, South Dakota that actually live there don't want these goddamn morons. Normally they do because they spend money. Can you imagine the scene of the den of iniquity and the scene of chaos having 250,000 motorcycle fucks all in the same place, right? But they normally spend a lot of money, but now the people don't want them because they will bring all the goddamn disease. But they're letting them in because it means so much money to the fucking county, state, city, whatever the fuck. But who would go to this thing? And why would you go to a concert? Were they wearing masks? Was it outdoors? What were the parameters set? Or were there any?
Well, I have some more information. Let me start with a post in the Mothership Facebook group by Scott Cornish. Are you people ready to rock? Fozzy is playing tonight at the 2020 Sturgis Motorcycle Rally. Free admission, not appearing on the main stage, no masks or social distancing required. Hashtag what have I become? Hashtag you just made the doctor's list. Hashtag a little bit of the virus. And yeah, it has here a posting, no tickets required.
The COVID god.
They're playing 10:30 tonight as we're recording. Someone sent in a video, I guess they did another show in the last couple days, and boy, everything we said about Chris Jericho, the singer, is reinforced every time I see any clips.
Wait a minute.
Chris Jericho, the singer. Oh my God.
There's no reason to continue on your one-man tirade against poor Jericho's singing, but what the fuck?
It's not one man anymore. It's everyone who watches these clips.
But I'm back to the no masks and the concert and no social distancing, and what the fuck is it? You would think primarily the people that are stupid and don't wear masks are the Trump fucks because he's told them it's some kind of communist plot and they're stupid enough to believe it. But you would think young people, rock and roll fans, more enlightened people would be no, we're not going to go in this place and fucking risk ourselves and our families. Yes, we're going to wear a mask if we go out in public, and we're sure not going to a fucking rock concert where a bunch of people are going to sweat and fucking dribble on us. What's the matter with people?
Well, you should.
Clips.
You should see these clips. This is really embarrassing. I'm sorry. This is really embarrassing. Even if you like that kind of music, a bloated Chris Jericho prancing around the stage doing
Wait a minute,
rock
that kind
moves.
of music? What kind of music? Rock and roll?
No, well, it's not rock and roll. It's hair metal. It's a vanity project. But I have a quote from Chris Jericho here.
Okay.
I'm trying to see a source for where this quote came from. A recent episode of his Saturday night special. Well, that's the thing where he sang to counter Sebastian Bach's claims that he couldn't sing a few weeks ago, I believe. Here's the quote. We actually did 4 shows this week, and the reason for that is we had our Save the World tour, which was originally scheduled for April and May, but it got postponed to July and August. Then got postponed to October and November. 4 shows remained in August, and I was like, how? These shows are in South Dakota and North Dakota, and we have one in Fort Madison, Iowa, which is right near the border of South Dakota.
So in other words, it's like the Federal Witness Protection Program of bookings, and he thinks that they're going to be so far out in the middle of nowhere that even the virus won't show up.
The reason why the shows have happened is because the states of North Dakota and South Dakota have low COVID cases, less than 1,000 in both states.
So we'll take care of that.
I think Florida had 9,000 today alone. The venues are either outside or they are half capacity. We are sold out tonight in, is it Minot or Minot? M-I-N-O-T?
Minot.
We are sold out tonight in Minot with, I think, 50% capacity. Last night, we were sold out in Sioux Falls, South Dakota with 35% capacity. We hand out masks at the door. The temperature checks. We stay on the bus all day. The Fozzy crew and camp have been tested. The Fozzy crew and camp. Oh, boy.
But now, is this actually practiced? Or are all these people just fucking lolling around all over the top of each other with no masks on and fucking screaming and yelling and shit, as you would imagine they were?
Let's take your distaste for Orange Cassidy out of the equation for a moment. You're not allowed to apply that to the answer. Okay?
Okay. Where did he come from in the middle of this? But go ahead.
Orange Cassidy's working with Chris Jericho this Wednesday night. Would you have a problem if you were Orange Cassidy working with Chris Jericho, considering he's out playing a festival of motorcycle enthusiasts, as well as these other shows, apparently, right before he's about to work with you?
Well, if I was Orange Cassidy, I would say, my God, I'm a fence post turtle. I've gotten a position that's way over my fucking, that I didn't get here by myself. I'm in over my head. I don't know what to do once I'm up here. And this is the only chance I'm going to have at actually wrestling a worldwide wrestling superstar on national TV. So I don't care if he's covered in bubonic plague and has just rolled around in a sewer. If I'm Orange Cassidy, yes, I'm going to fucking work with him. But
as I said, take your distaste out of the equation.
Well, no, I'm not. That's not even a distaste. He has to realize this. This is a big fucking deal for him. When else would he ever get in this position? How else would he ever get in this position?
So, but if it was another legitimate professional wrestler that was going to have other chances because it wasn't just a fluke comedy publicity stunt that he's in the spot, I would have an issue with working with Jericho after he's been fucking rocking and rolling through the Dakotas.
I don't think he has to worry about his position. Some wrestlers drink wine with Dixie, some drink White Claws with Tony Khan. I think he's fine. I think he'll be
What
okay.
is a White Claw?
It's a girly drink. It's like a seltzer with some alcohol in it. It's like 5% alcohol by volume. It's like Zima. It's not a serious drink. It's not a man's drink.
All right. Okay.
It's a girly drink.
Well, between the two of them, I get maybe between the two of Tony Khan and Pockets, they could make an entire whole adult grown human man.
Well, apparently there's also going to be some wrestling in Sturgis.
What?
The LFC Lingerie Fighting Championships 30. A little bit of wrestling, a little bit of clothing. No holds barred wrestling madness meets racy lingerie. When the ladies from the Lingerie Fighting Championships square off at the best party anywhere. Get ready for a little bit of wrestling, a little bit of clothing, and a whole lot of mayhem as fighters like Tomiko the Temptress Tajima and Jenny Bloody Valentine throw vicious strikes, clamor for submission holds, and generally knock the crap out of each other. Nothing but gloves and some skimpy lingerie.
Well, I can't wait. I want to buy a ticket right now.
Free admission, by the way.
Free admission? What the fuck? Dude, why's the big buildup if it's free admission? It's free. Walk on in. That's all you got to say, right?
I think you're competing with all the other free things in Sturgis.
Then how the fuck is it? Who's making some money to fucking pay for their fucking teeth to get knocked out when they don't know what they're doing and they're wearing the gloves wrong or whatever the fuck? Are they getting paid to do this?
A little bit of wrestling.
They're doing it for the love of the game.
The love of the game? What game is that?
The game of lingerie fighting, of course. Don't you dare make mockery of a serious sport like lingerie fighting.
There aren't enough White Claws to get me to watch that event. But our next question was sent in to CornyDriveThru at gmail.com from Red Spiral Ray. Jim, being that you worked with Vader for many years, I was hoping you'd have some info on a question that's bugged me for a while. I've heard a rumor that Vader was referred to as the man they call Vader in the WWF to avoid a potential lawsuit from Lucasfilm. Can you confirm this? Did Vader ever have any trouble from Fox or George Lucas during his career due to his name? I imagine they would be highly protective of the Darth Vader brand, so I've always wondered how he was able to wrestle with that name and not be sued into hell.
Well, I can't sit here and say with 100% certainty that nobody ever contacted him about his name, but obviously nothing ever came of it. And I can tell you that in the WWF, no, that wasn't a reason. The reason is the same thing they used to announce Sting as the man they call Sting, because one named people weren't all that common in wrestling those days, and it was like a better intro. The man they call Vader was to Vince was a better intro than Vader. That's pretty much as deep as it went. I don't mean to be disappointing, but I
kind of think it was the opposite, wasn't it? That because New Japan either sued or threatened to sue after their deal with Vader ran out. That's why he wasn't able to continue to be called Big Van Vader. Remember, he was Big Van Vader, and then New Japan.
But that was in the WCW days.
That was in WCW, and then he became Vader, and the reason New Japan couldn't stop him from being Vader was because George Lucas owned the rights to the name Darth Vader.
Yes. Yes.
So I don't think anyone interfered with him at all about it, because right there was the example. They tried to stop him from using any semblance of the name Big Van Vader, and they couldn't completely stop him because They didn't own the rights to it. George Lucas did, and no one from George Lucas's company interfered.
Yeah, they came up with a gimmick that they basically stole themselves, and then when the guy left, they couldn't stop him from taking it somewhere else because they didn't own it to begin with. But yeah, and basically, a one-named guy, the man they call, dipshit, whatever it may be, just was a little bit more of a build-up. And, I kind of stole a little bit with Flash Flanagan was here in OVW, and I love Flash as a worker and as a human being. I just never liked the last name, Flash Flanagan. Sounded limiting. So I just knocked it off and called him Flash. But we added the intro, the man who loves to steal the show, because that was back when Michaels was the showstopper. And fucking, Flash was always doing the flashy shit, right? And he was blah, blah, blah. But just it's an introductory tagline type of thing.
All right, our next question. Actually, let me make a clarification on something that came up on the experience. AEW heels.
Oh, boy. Yeah, here's another reason why you're the hottest heel in the wrestling industry this week instead of me.
I previously said that it was $50. I guess I must have said $50 a month.
You did.
It is actually $50 a year to join the exclusive AEW Heels Women's Brigade.
It's so exclusive, there's hardly anybody in it. That's right. But yeah, you misrepresented the cost, because when you said $50 a month, I popped. I went, what? I'm like, what the fuck? But you misspoke. It's $50 a year. So it's more like $4 and 15 cents a month or whatever. But a bargain at half the price, as they used to say. But I've been hearing mixed messages on whether this thing is being well received or not, because I think that, didn't they say that they had about 100, 125? Somebody said we were wrong when we said there's no female AEW fans. They had between 125 and 150 of them on that call. Okay, they had 900,000 people watch them last week. It's usually between 600 and 900,000, and they got 150 women or less on the. So I still say that qualifies as no female fans. That minute portion. But anyway, so you mea culpa on the price there. But it's still, what's the feedback on the service? Because I'm hearing from a lot of people just saying that Brandy just wants some more attention. And Brandy.
Well, Brandy didn't like the attention she was getting. She quit Twitter.
What? What now? Wait.
Because Brandy's been getting it from a lot of people who say, why are you forcing yourself down everyone's throat? Why are you on the TV show nonstop? Why are you a heel, then a babyface, then a heel? Why are you trying to start this group?
And in both at the same time, by the way, a babyface because you're an executive, but at the same time as you're a heel as a performer. Don't forget that.
Yeah, so Brandy's certainly been hearing it from a lot of people, and apparently it caused her to quit Twitter.
Is there going to be anybody in AEW on Twitter by the end of the year?
Well, previously the Young Bucks had quit Twitter, but I think one of them, Road Warrior Buck returned, someone told me.
Oh, he backslid, huh?
Yeah.
Fell off the wagon, the Twitter wagon?
They just need it. They're addicted to it. They pretend like they don't want the feedback. Then they're like, oh, I just got to know what people are saying about what I think is brilliant. And then...
Well, as we found out, most of the people on Twitter aren't really legitimate people anyway, but there are some on there. But besides that, I'm not trying to eviscerate Brandy. I met her one time, and she was very friendly for 45 seconds. That's the sum total of our personal interaction. But all the things you said are a reason why she's going to get heat with the fans, because... Yeah, it's a cute pun, Chief Brandy Officer instead of Branding Officer, but what are her qualifications to do branding for a major sports league? Does she have experience in that endeavor, or just since she was there and they were all getting together talking about what everybody could do, like one of the Bucks' wives in charge of merchandise? Well, it's,
But she's actually done merchandise. I mean, to be fair... She actually handled the Young Bucks merchandise when they were wrestling.
But wait a minute, but she handled the Young Bucks merchandise when they were wrestling. Does that mean that I'm qualified then for the job as the chief merchandise officer of All Elite Wrestling? No, this is why And this is the Crockett syndrome all over again. This is why that Vince wins all these things in the end. Because say what you want about the rest of his picadillos and the people he chooses to work with in the wrestling end of his operations, but he has some fucking people, knowledgeable, experienced people with badass resumes at what they're expected to do that are hired to work for that company. He gets people that have come from other sports franchises or major Fortune 500 companies, depending on the position, or with these big time degrees and experience in marketing or merchandising or whatever the case may be. It's only the wrestling end that he, just sometimes will listen to any jackleg that walks in the goddamn room. But his company, that's why he's been so together and why he wins all these things in the end, because the company has experienced people, not just, like Greg the Office Boy in Ring of Honor. I said, find somebody that does a real nice fucking, sports league's website. And we got the fucking friend of his from college. And that's what they're doing here at All Friends Wrestling. I'm not saying Brandy's a horrible person, but to my knowledge, she has not run branding for a major sports league before. So maybe we should have got somebody who has. And I'm not even knocking the Buck's wife because I've never met her, but maybe we should get somebody that's actually done merchandising at a high level for a fucking one of these giant e-commerce sites. You think? Just an idea. That's what I don't understand about it. He's the son of a billionaire, and they're on a major national cable network, and the infrastructure of this thing was put together like I used to run OVW. Yes, Danny Davis's wife, Julie, ran the concession stand and sold the pizza and the drinks because it was a family operation because we were at a goddamn warehouse in Louisville. Do you get what I'm saying here? Am I over anybody's head here?
No, I agree with what you're saying. If you're going to have a serious organization, you need serious people in serious positions. I have some Brandy news.
More Brandy news.
This was just tweeted to me by a listener named James. He says she's still coming out on top. And what he forwarded to me was something from a Twitter account, Wrestling Figure News Source. Brandy's AEW figure will be coming in replenishment cases. She is more rare and will be more valuable long-term. Guarantee yourself one, and has a place, I guess, to order them. So the Brandy action figure is the rare one that you want to try to collect in case it goes up in value. Come on. By the way, that's series 1. Apparently there's a second series of AEW figures. No other women. So Brandy's the only female figure.
Oh my God!
I guess wrestling intergender matches.
Maybe the chief marketing officer of what's her name, Buck, will be the second figure that All Friends Wrestling releases. Your level of professionalism has to be determined by your level in society. Like I said, if you're a local promotion, all hands on deck, they were all family operations in one respect or another. But if you're going to try to work at this level and compete at this level, then that Jim Crockett went out of business because he had the same office infrastructure, the same secretaries, the same accountant, the same office that he'd had since he was a goddamn local promoter in 3 states. And that's what the downfall there was. And here's something else. We talked about this on the program. That it was breaking news on the experience, but just to follow up, a couple of people tweeted, well, you're just knocking AEW again, talking about the change in the network shakeup where Kevin Riley's out, the guy that greenlit AEW, that had the first talks with Tony Khan, etc. And yeah, they may be renewed for whatever many years. And you know what we found out, and I'm not knocking them and I'm not wishing them to go out of business. I'm not predicting this. I'm saying that it's never a good thing when the guy that puts you on TV is no longer at the TV station. That's just common sense also. And there are people who don't like wrestling, and this is to the point that I was making the other day. There are people that don't like wrestling regardless whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. And most of these network people, they don't know anything about good or bad wrestling to what the wrestling fans think are good or bad to begin with. They just know stars and ratings. And they've known Vince McMahon and WWE because he's been in it for so long and he's got the reputation. As a matter of fact, from what I was informed by Tony Khan in our initial phone call, Kevin Riley was not even really aware that Turner Broadcasting or the Turner Networks had owned and botched Vince's only competition 20 years before to begin with. When they first started talking about it, it was a surprise. But one guy came in, Jamie Kellner, and got power through the merger and et cetera 20 years ago at Time Warner, and he didn't want wrestling. I've heard multiple station managers of broadcast television stations in local markets, both in person and relayed other stories that have been told to me by other people, saying that we're not going to have wrestling on this fucking station, and that's it, because they don't like wrestling. So the point that I was making is, if a guy like Jamie Kellner came along and said, we're not going to have wrestling even with Hulk Hogan, Ric Flair, and Goldberg, I don't want wrestling on my station, then why are they taking a chance that somebody can come along in that Kevin Riley spot now and say, I don't want wrestling on my station, especially if it's a guy that sticks his hands in his pockets, a fucking 112-pound fucking glorified midget, and a goddamn drag queen from the Tropicana.
Well, again, what I said the other day, AEW is incredibly cheap programming. They're getting the target demo that they want for advertisers, and they're only paying $45 million a year. That's less than $1 million a week for that show. That's a pretty good deal. All things considered, that's a really good deal.
For the state of network television and cable television, et cetera, and the economics these days, that's cheap programming.
They're getting $45 million a year. How much is WWE getting? What, 200 million?
Something, yeah, whatever the fuck. But the point I'm making is, even I know television managers, station managers that have canceled wrestling shows that were paying to be on, much less one that they're paying to produce. If I were them, I would not be putting a bunch of hokey horse shit on the television show. If for no other reason, if they don't want to have any respect for the wrestling business, then just have respect for the goddamn, and they don't want to have any respect for the viewer because their average viewer likes that kind of shit. Imagine a television programming executive that's taken over his job. He's evaluating all the programming. He turns on something or gets a tape or recording or whatever, and he sees goddamn pockets. Or he sees one of those clusterfuck matches where the small children are just bopping and diving and flipping about. And all the frame of reference that he has of what wrestling is supposed to be comes from the WWE, where say what you want. And also it's probably going to be 20 years old, if that. So he or she is going to remember, goddamn, at least those guys looked like stars and they were in movies and people knew their names, and, you know, the Undertaker and The Rock. And, you know, now we've got all these kids doing all this play acting shit. What the fuck do we want that on our fucking network for? That can happen. And then it doesn't matter who the fuck is, you know, for you. You're done. You're done if they get a show they want to put in that spot that helps them out better. I had a chance to get Smoky Mountain Wrestling on a local station in Roanoke one time, Roanoke, Virginia, WSLS, as a matter of fact. And because they were carrying WCW and nobody was watching it anymore. And wrestling had always been big on that station. I believe it was, now I've said it WSLS, now maybe sideways. It was stationed in Roanoke. Nevertheless, the station manager said, tell you what, we're going to run WCW at noon like we always do on Saturday, and going to run Smoky Mountain Wrestling at 1. And we're going to see which show gets better feedback, who calls or writes or whatever and says, we'd rather see this show. And guess which show won 2-1? Smoky Mountain Wrestling. Guess which show stayed on the air? WCW. Because Turner Broadcasting, the syndication guy, when was notified that they were going to make a change, said, well, I'll tell you what, we'll give you a reduced rate in our overnight CNN news service and also free fucking box season tickets for the Atlanta Braves. Okay. People that control the network can do whatever the fuck they want. People that have the advantage in television and control the programming can do whatever the fuck they want. And sometimes it doesn't matter who wants to see what. That's all I'm saying.
Well, back to the topic at hand. What do you think about the idea of wrestlers using social media, using Twitter to get attention, but then quitting if it's not the attention they desire?
Well, shit, like anybody in the world gets more horrible things said about them on Twitter than I do. And I drink the tears. I block people who are smartasses because I'm actually going for the world record. As soon as I can find somebody that can show me how to figure out how many people I blocked, I want the world record. Because it's not that I disagree with you. It's not that I am afraid to debate you. I look at people that I block on Twitter like dog shit that I scrape off the bottom of my shoe. I'm not scared of it, but it is annoying and it does smell and I want to get it away from me because it's filthy and it does not deserve to be near my person. So if I block somebody on Twitter, it's because they don't deserve my knowledge and entertainment. They're too stupid. And they got mouthy and they said something I didn't like. But to take my Twitter down just because people are knocking me when obviously they are mentally fucked up? No. Now, them I can understand because the people that are knocking them are actually correct. So there's that. But what a bunch of fucking pussies. Well, I don't mean to say that about Brandy. The Bucks are pussies. Brandy's too sensitive.
Well, there's another one. A couple people sent this in. I found this pretty funny. Apparently, Jelly Nutella has quit Twitter.
Oh, no!
And I say apparently because he's such an attention star
whore. He's an attention whore.
That you never...
Even if it's bad, we determined that. That's why we seldom talk about him anymore, because he doesn't care if people notice him as being a complete idiot, a piece of shit, horrible at what he does, or just a jack-off, as long as people pay attention to him and laugh at him. He likes that.
Well, plus we realize people don't care because every time we put him in a video, it underperforms, so we stopped doing that a while ago.
That's true. He doesn't even get fucking people defending him from the cosplay wrestling community.
No, he's one of those people that like unites the AEW fans and the AEW haters that just about everyone agrees he's awful and shouldn't be on any sort of mainstream wrestling television show. And if you think that's what the fans think, you should hear what some of the AEW wrestlers say when they get you on the phone.
Yeah.
But he tweeted out, there was a clip of him that went viral this week. I guess he did these like 2 super kicks to a couple of guys. They looked so bad. It was like the most obvious thigh slapping. Thigh slapping in itself is overdone, but when it's just so obvious, when you just see the hand coming down, it's so bad.
Yeah.
And these guys were like hunched over and he went to the top rope. And I guess he was going to try to get across the ring to tag Sonny Kiss. And the guys are hunched over. He walks on the one guy's back, then loses his balance and just goes flying off the second guy's back. And then even Taz on commentary is like, oh, he fell on his ass. And I mean, look, he can't, there's not been a match of his where he doesn't fuck something up because he does stuff that he's stupid. He's just a really stupid guy.
So they got on him just a stupid man.
He's just
and imagine guy. How rotten you have to be to where the fucking guys you're in the ring with are hoping you do get to tag Sonny Kiss in. So we don't have to work with you anymore. But so he quit Twitter because they knocked him over it, because he fell off the guy's back.
Here's the tweet that was sent to me. And again, you never know because he is someone that looks to Twitter for justification and validation for his existence. You never know if it's just another cry for attention or if it's legitimate. But the tweet was, hey, I've decided to give up social media. I never botched in my career. I never botched in my career, and I didn't on AEW Dark. At one point, these horrible humans on social media had me at the point of retirement, but I've retracted that decision.
Wait, folks, if it is possible, let's keep it up.
I will be handing my passwords to a management team. Thanks, JJ. I guess he calls himself JJ now. But, Yeah, apparently he was so close to retirement.
I will be handing my passwords to a management team. What, is he in a mental health facility? Is he being let out? I don't understand that phrase.
No, that is something that actually happens in various entertainment businesses, whether it's the music industry or sports teams, where a player or an actor or a professional wrestler, instead of being active on social media, they'll utilize the power of social media by keeping their account and gaining followers, but have someone else manage the account so that they don't have to do the day-to-day. Usually it's from people who just don't have the time or the desire to do day-to-day social media management. In this case, apparently, it's just because
he's going to hand it over to them like
heat.
He probably found some guy on a fucking boardwalk in a cardboard box. Says, "Can you be my manager?" It's not like he's going to pay somebody to do his Twitter. Did he ever get a chance to move out of Mama's basement?
Oh, I don't know.
Because he did admit from his own chicken lips that's where he was living for quite some time, wasn't it? Or he wasn't the homeless one. He was just living in his mama's basement. But anyway, I hate that all these fucking modern wrestlers are so dickless and ballless and gutless they can't even take people knocking them on fucking Twitter. And that's supposed to give you validation that these ignorant fools on Twitter don't like you, so you must be doing something right. But once again, that's my take on it. Whereas I can understand when these people hear that they are shit and it's the truth, it kind of hurts them, but still gutless. Can you imagine 3 or 4 good death threats in the course of a single week? If he's talking about retirement because people were knocking him on Twitter, have the fucking Little Rock Police Department come up to you and say, well, we're going to be keeping an extra eye on you tonight because we've had a few phone calls. Fuck you, you pussy motherfuckers. Yeah, sissy, goddamn effeminate bastards.
But again, there's one thing with someone like Brandy, who people are rejecting, but she's not out there like fighting with people. This clown goes on there and tries to act like a little social media tough guy. And then when people give it back to him, puts his tail between his legs and runs, hides.
Wait a minute, he's changed. It's all part of a gimmick change. He's going from the bad boy to the sad boy.
It's going to be the bus boy soon. Tony ain't going to pay you forever. I don't care how many drinks you give him. He ain't going to pay you forever. Boys are already talking in that company about what a nothing you are. Watch what happens. Just watch.
Just hide and watch. Just hide and watch.
Just hide and watch.
That's what we say down south. You just hide and watch. I'll show you what's going to happen. Anyway, speaking of bus boys, the one thing that I miss in the middle of this pandemic, Brian, because I've told you I've been practicing social distancing for years, and actually this has not inconvenienced me a trifle, not going out in public. At all. As a matter of fact, it has enhanced my life because now I'm actually starting to get semi caught up on things I need to do. However, the one thing I miss, restaurants. Restaurants. This is the thing that I'm going to miss going forward for the rest of my life. But you don't have to miss good food just because you can't go to a restaurant, because Brian, you know who's going to take care of us here, our friends at Omaha Steaks.
Yes.
Yes, you sound like Ed McMahon on a bit on The Tonight Show. Yes. Right now, Omaha Steaks is offering a steakhouse grilling package with a limited time offer just for my listeners right here at the drive-thru. Go to omahasteaks.com and enter the code JCE. That's for the experience, actually, but we're all friends here together. Into the search bar, and this week, if you do it this week, Omaha Steaks will add 4 burgers and 4 gourmet jumbo franks free with your order. And I'm telling you what, these gourmet jumbo frank, they are jumbo. They are puffy. They are swollen up and filled with flavor. They're throbbing almost. You almost expect to see a blue vein sticking up in these things. They're so fucking big and massive and large around. But anyway, it's called the Grand Summer Grill Out Package, folks, and it lets you stay at home and eat like you're at the best steakhouse in town. Omaha Steaks, bacon-wrapped filet mignon, pork chops, chicken, kielbasa, more, delivered to your door. And you can get this smoky, sweet bacon, fork tender filet mignon, all for much less than going out to a restaurant if you go to omahasteaks.com and type JCE in the search bar today. Once again, the Grand Summer Grill Out Package If you get that this week, you get 4 Jumbo Franks, 4 Omaha Steak Burgers free. But obviously, at any time, any day, anywhere, you can go to omahasteaks.com and get the best in food. It's flash frozen, vacuum sealed, safely delivered in a cooler with dry ice, fresher than fresh. They've even got desserts. Hell with the steakhouses. Save some money and eat at home and don't get sick. omahasteaks.com. JCE goes in the search bar. That's what I was talking about earlier, Brian. You weren't picking up on what I was laying down.
I was picking it up. I was thinking about all the delicious Omaha Steaks food I want to be eating ASAP.
ASAP.
I got it downstairs in the outside freezer. I think I'm going to take some of that in later today and have a little bit of a feast.
Wait a minute. You have a freezer outside with just sitting in the yard?
Well, no, in the garage we have a second freezer.
You have an outdoor garage with no walls.
So it's an indoor. What?
Well, you said the freezer was outside. The freezer is inside your house. It's in the garage.
Inside the house.
It's inside the perimeter of your dwelling.
Yes.
So it's not just sitting out in the yard or on the porch. I knew some people had a freezer on the porch.
Really?
Well, yeah. Hey, down south, you'll find everything on somebody's porch. You go down the road, you see somebody sitting out on the porch. They got a whole living room set out there on the porch. They got a TV. They got a grill. They got a hot tub. All kinds of things sitting out on the front porch.
And maybe a turtle on the fence.
Maybe a turtle on the fence post.
All right.
Omaha Steaks.
Let's get a few more questions before we wrap up and go to the watch along. This next question was sent in to CornyDriveThru@gmail.com from, trying to see how we signed it, Ryan Hayes in Cold Spring, Kentucky.
I'm aware of Ryan Hayes. He's a fine member of the cult of Cornette and a customer at Cornette's Collectibles.
He sent in a lot of stuff. This is a popular topic. I probably would have gone to another email if I realized the way he sent this in.
Oh, so now you're just going to spit right in Ryan's face after all he's done for me.
No. I appreciate his concerted effort to send in this information. It's just, it's copies of tweets, and then it's writing, and then more tweets. Did you?
Oh, so you have to work hard to do this is on your own show here. You have to actually exert effort to accomplish this, is what you're saying. That's why you don't like it.
Jim, did you notice the tweets that Lance Storm sent out and then later discussions he was involved in about intergender wrestling?
I have not. I follow Lance, but I have not. I didn't follow this thread of conversation. I think I saw some stuff that he may have been referring to that, but I didn't delve deeper into it to find out exactly what the fucking flow of the conversation was. No.
There's a tweet here, according to this, it was liked by Chris Jericho. It says, I see some discussion on intergender wrestling matches again. In light of speaking out, I think these matches have to stop. I've heard from so many women who were uncomfortable doing these, but felt obligated to get booked, because these matches were accepted in, quote, norms. And obviously Lance upset shouldn't even say a lot, he upset some of the female wrestlers who like doing these intergender matches.
Oh, God. Well, oh, for heaven's sake. Well, and I've said this a bunch. Lance is a very nice guy, so he centered on my second place reason for not liking these fucking things as his first place reason. Second place reason, because yes, we have heard from women, girls, females, whatever age group, who didn't feel good about doing these things, but were talked into or forced or just convinced to or felt they had to do it anyway. But the biggest thing, of course, the biggest number one problem to me is it's not fucking believable. And it's bullshit and makes the wrestling business look bad. We've said this a million times. However, if we're going to bypass that main reason, then yes, another good secondary reason is because, yes, you're going to get, just like you had, obviously, that we've now found out, people fucking taking advantage of this situation where this is somehow viewed as normal in the wrestling business now, to fucking grab people by their fucking various fucking parts that they don't, their private parts. And it's fucking stupid there as well. I have worked with women in we didn't call them intergender matches, in manager matches, me against Baby Doll, or me against fucking Luna Vachon. She was a much better worker than I was. Or whatever the fuck, merely for the ineffectual fat manager to be embarrassed by being beaten by a girl, which is what it should be to any normal adult male. It should be the most embarrassing thing that ever happened to you in your life if you get beat up in a fight by a girl. And for you not to be able to realize that or admit it is fucking ludicrous. That was the goddamn standard by which fucking guys were humiliated in the wrestling business for years. Well, let's get a girl to beat them up. But regardless, I'm astonished. Of course, some of the girls like to have the matches, because wouldn't you? If you're getting a chance to beat a grown adult man, supposed professional wrestler, flat in the middle of the ring, 1, 2, 3, whether he's got a name or not, yeah, that's something that's great for you, but it forever fucking dooms the guy's career to being one of the fucking stupid guys that puts girls over all the time, because no self-respecting, legitimate star professional wrestler will sell for, put over, or much less interact with some guy that's known for getting beat up by women, because then it would make him look like a goddamn idiot. So this whole fucking thing is stupid. And we should go back to exactly the way things were when shit made sense. And just like every other sport in the known universe that I can think of, everything from football and basketball to fucking tennis and golf, the women can fight or play against the women, and the men can fight or play against the men. And if some fucking fat, obnoxious manager needs to get embarrassed, then you can have a girl beat him up. But until then, fuck, it's ridiculous. On every level, you hurt talent, you make your business look like shit, you make people scoff at your product, all for the sake of the, once again, minute number of people worldwide overall that want to view this as some type of art form and think that it is somehow acceptable for a 130-pound fucking girl to beat up Brian Cage. There you go. Fuck.
Our next question, sent to CornyDriveThru@gmail.com from Evan in D.C. When Vince McMahon finally kicks the bucket, what will his legacy be in pro wrestling? Do you think he'll be remembered for the good things he did, like the Austin feud, being arguably one of the best heel characters of all time, revolutionizing the business in the Attitude Era? Or will he be remembered for the bad things he was responsible for, like horrible creative decisions over the years, pushing guys nobody wanted to see, unleashing Stephanie on the pro wrestling industry? In my opinion, Vince has been more of a detriment to pro wrestling, especially in recent years, than he has a positive contributor. What is his legacy once he finally kicks it?
Oh, good Lord. It depends on who you're talking to. Just like, you can walk down the street and actually find people that will say, yes, Donald Trump's doing a great job. I think he should get another 4 years. There are people like that actually out there. So it depends on who you're talking to. For fans of wrestling of the territory days, or from wrestlers of the territory days, Vince will forever be the fucking guy who goddamn, broke the code and said wrestling's a work. For modern day fans, now Vince will be the fucking old man who wouldn't let all their favorite wrestlers do all the shit they wanted to do, and did preside over a bland, boring, just bleh product. Fans from the Attitude Era will remember Vince McMahon as the promoter that changed everything and made the greatest wrestling that they'd ever seen, because they weren't old enough to see the really good stuff, and they were old enough to know that the stuff 20 years later sucked donkey cock. So it depends on who you're talking to. And the wrestlers that everybody that made millions working for him will love him. Everybody that either got fucked around or got let go. I bet Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson, I bet, will have a fucking cake. But got let go, screwed out of money, whatever. They're probably going to fucking knock him. Wrestlers that never got to work for him are, depending on their age, either going to be mad at him because he exposed the business or, the modern day, well, I didn't want to work there anyway. It just depends. There's going to be no universal recognition. Vince has done a lot of great things for the promotion of professional wrestling, for the marketing of professional wrestling. He's a great promoter. He's done the marketing and making stars and making names in various mainstream medias and making a lot of money for a long period of time. He's been the absolute best ever. His wrestling product has never been the best ever and wasn't even the best ever when all those years that he was fucking, the biggest ever. It still wasn't the best wrestling. So it just depends. I mean, who you talking to?
I think in terms of legacy, a couple things you have to say is one, biggest wrestling promoter of all time.
Yeah.
Looking at AEW and Impact and just about everything out there, you could argue the most influential wrestling promoter of all time. Not saying it's good influence, but in terms of what everyone else's product looks like and the bad comedy and the skits and the scripted writing and the ramp, everything. Most influential.
Yeah.
Revolutionary in terms of marketing and promotion. Also someone who set out to put everyone else out of business.
Yeah.
And that's part of his legacy too. There's good and bad.
And also in the process of doing that, changed the business into something that he would be good at, but that none of his competition could or would want to present. Basically, showbiz wrestling that the other promoters knew would be bad for the business overall in general and did not want to present, even if it was the way out, because it was offensive to them. The same way that the WWE Network cost the WWE money in terms of the lost pay-per-view revenue, but it more than that, it offset that loss of pay-per-view revenue for the WWE that was already financially stable anyway by devaluing pay-per-view for any other present or future wrestling competitor. The only people that actually buy pay-per-view now are the fucking pay-per-views that AEW fucking sells because those fans want to see that particular thing. And then Ring of Honor may sell a handful. New Japan may sell a handful, whatever, but they ruined the pay-per-view business in wrestling because they made the biggest stars, the biggest matches with the biggest television coverage and the biggest library and tape network available for $10 a month. So they would be making more money now, the WWE would, if they had not put their pay-per-views on the network for free, but they've devalued it from everybody else's viewpoint enough that it is a boon to their business that nobody can make mass money off pay-per-view anymore to try to compete with them. It was the same thing. Vince knew that in his mind, he could present this product that somehow came out and admitted that it was all bullshit, but he could still kind of make it work, but it would pretty much screw up the entire wrestling business for everybody else. So that's his legacy too. And it did. That's exactly what happened. When you think about it, since it has become mainstream public knowledge and just cast around like a stone cold fact amongst everybody that wrestling is completely a fucking work, the only long-term success has been Vince McMahon. But before that, there were dozens and dozens. You can't, once something has been parodied or exposed like that, if you've got somebody that's willing to go with the fucking parody, then that becomes what it is, and everybody that tries to do it seriously from then on as an alternative is kind of fucked. Which is why so many of these people abandon their principles and try to do parody wrestling instead of doing it real because they think that's, then there's a limited audience for that too. And my thought has always been here lately, it's just got to the point where I don't care what they think about wrestling in general, if you as a person in wrestling go out and do not do everything in your power to not fucking break character, not let on that you are not in the state of mind that you are in, that you are not who you present yourself to be, and that it is not a legitimate conflict between the two of you, then there's no reason to fucking do it. And you might as well go home. So anyway, Vince will be remembered by a lot of different people for a lot of different things. And that's basically what happened. He changed the business and made a lot of people a lot of money, but he ruined the business for everybody else and cost a lot of people a lot of money.
Well, Jim, it is now time for Equal Time. This was sent to CornyDriveThru@gmail.com from Pat McGee in Las Vegas, Nevada. Why does Brian Last insist on asking Jim Charlie from Starkville questions? Seriously, the last questions by Charlie weren't even good. Last claims they are well written, but just because they are well written doesn't mean they are good, and that others want to hear them answered. Brian Last claims the Drive-Thru gets thousands of letters a week. Well, then pick one of those and give others a chance. Ironic how Last criticizes the owners of WWE and AEW for not listening to fans when he doesn't do the same. Second, I hate AEW. When I tried to give NXT a chance, the first matches that were on the show were women's matches, and I immediately turned off the program.
See?
Third, Chris Jericho and Lance Storm suck. Fourth,
Wait, okay, just had to throw that one in.
if Cody Rhodes wasn't the son of Dusty Rhodes, what would Jim think of his in-ring ability? I agree Cody can talk if the subject is good, but believe he is only getting a pass because he is the son of a legendary wrestler. Fifth,
Oh, wait a goddamn minute. I'm not going to remember all these.
What does
let me answer that one real shortly. I still would like Cody's work. I think Cody is an excellent worker. He does a good job, especially compared with the dearth in that field today. But Cody's matches, even if he wasn't Dusty's son, they would have still been the same matches and look just as good. The ones with Dustin and the several that we have praised.
fifth, what does Jim think about Marty Jannetty as a worker, as a person, and as someone who has admitted to killing someone? Thanks, Pat McGee. P.S. For Charlie in Mississippi, when someone, Jim Cornette, sighs when they hear your name, that's not a good thing, you moron. So once again, equal time, a short example of some of the emails that we typically don't include on the air for a reason, one reason or another. Well, this time it got on.
That last question, we talked about it, but as a worker, I thought he was very good. I believe we covered that, but we covered that on the experience this past week. And then there was were there any other questions, or was it just a bunch of sharp statements, mostly directed at you?
Well, Mr. McGee had a lot to get off his chest, obviously.
Yes. Well, but anyway, and as far as what did he say about, see, the key phrase was well-written questions. Apparently, you gravitate, Brian Last, to Charlie from Starkville's questions because they are more well-written than the average individual. Is that what you're claiming?
Well, here's what I've noticed with Charlie. And by the way, for anyone wondering, Charlie's a real person. It's not me using a fake name.
He is. I actually know who he is. Yes. He has written to me as well.
Let's say on a given day, we get 20 questions about AEW heels, to use that as the example. We will get people sending in questions like, hey, Jim, AEW heels, what the fuck? I hate Brandy, blah, blah, blah. We'll get people that just don't even know how to put a sentence together. Hey, Brandy Rhodes, you suck, pig, fuck. Like, just throw words together. And then we'll get something from someone like Charlie that'll say,
pig, fuck.
Seriously, some people just throw words together. I don't know what the fuck they're trying to say. And then we get some emails from Charlie that'll say, hello, Jim and Brian. Recently, Brandy Rhodes launched something called AEW Heels. This is a service designed to do this. What do you think about this? For the show's purposes, that usually works best. And that is why Charlie has gotten in the past so many questions on the show. By the way, he had one question last week, nothing this week, although we could change that in a heartbeat.
No, I wouldn't, but I will acquiesce to the fact that Charlie does do well-written questions. And as a matter of fact, he joins someone in the cult of Cornette orbit who is a very well-written. As a matter of fact, he's been writing writs all morning. If you've read the writs he's written, you'll know they're really well-written writs. Can you guess who I'm talking about?
Call Stephen P. News. If you need to sue. An outlaw mud show or two. Still to the rest.
You're going to have to tighten that transition up over there, Brian Last. Yes, ladies and gentlemen.
It'll be tight and edit.
It'll be tight in the editing. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Stephen P. New at newlawoffice.com, 888-692-8084. If you want to file a grievance, even a class action suit, because your favorite podcast favors one particular question asker over all the rest, or any other issue that you might have, look no further than the man, the myth, the legend, Stephen P. New. No, he cannot take every case, and we have mentioned he's not like Santa Claus, folks. He can't come down everybody's chimney in one night. But if you have been wronged by a major corporation, harmed, your environment has been poisoned, your family has been physical health or mental health has been harmed, or some injustice has been done to you, and you need somebody to be your champion in a court of law, well, then Stephen P. New is the man for you. As I mentioned, 888-692-8084, newlawoffice.com. If he can't take your case, if you're so far away geographically or outside his area of expertise, he will do his best to make sure that the cult of Cornette members are sent in the right direction, referred to somebody, or at least given some type of advice on how to proceed. And for the big ones, folks, for the cases that he knows that he can help you with, he will be your hammer of justice. That gavel will fall in your favor. Stephen P. New. Get even with Stephen. If you need to sue, call Stephen P. New. The man, the myth, the legend, the consigliere of the cult of Cornette. I could go on. The man that even has kept Brian Last out of prison all these years.
That's right. All these years.
All these years, when did you first make somebody disappear? How old were you? About 13?
I'm not going to make any jokes about this.
I mean, it was out behind the alley, behind the bowling alley up there in Fairhope, New Jersey somewhere.
I wouldn't make someone disappear. I may know some people who could do it. But I would personally never be involved.
I would never do it. Not myself. No, I would make sure to contract that shit out.
Once again, no comment. But Jim, I think it's time for our watch along.
All right, this is our weekly palate cleanser, where we actually watch a good match to make up for all the bad matches we watch on Wednesdays on The Experience. But then we got a problem with this one. This is a great match, but then as I was sitting down thinking before we went on the air, trying to figure out how to set the stage for this and give people the context, we would be here for the next 3 hours because this still ties into Shawn Michaels' goddamn snits that he pulled on a regular basis. And even though this is Bret Hart versus Steve Austin, it started in February of that year with Shawn Michaels losing his fucking smile. Because originally, the main event for this WrestleMania was supposed to be the rematch from the previous year, where Michaels had beaten Bret Hart in the Iron Man match, won the title. Bret took a year off because he did the movie thing and he was doing some acting. And also, as he said, he put Michaels over and went away to let Michaels twist and wend and fucking hang himself because he couldn't take the pressure or perform as champion because he was a mental case. And that's pretty much what fucking happened.
So when Bret comes back, the thought is that the WrestleMania rematch 97, Bret will get his win back. This was one of, go ahead.
So when they did Bret and Austin in Survivor Series, that originally was going to be just a one-off, not building to the submission match?
Well, it might have built to a submission match, but not in this specific spot. And they would have had other matches, obviously, but not here, because the whole thing got fucked up. February 13th, 1997, we're in Lowell, Massachusetts at the Memorial Auditorium. It was a special Thursday night Raw. I think that was the Westminster Dog Show again, right? That used to preempt Raw on Monday nights, so we would do a special on Thursdays. And it got him just a day or two before that Vince gets another phone call from Shawn Michaels. And because I remember Vince telling me and Bruce, and this was before Shitstain came along as part of the creative team. There were still problems. Vince says, well, Shawn's going to the doctor, knee injury, maybe career ending. And I fucking blew snot. I'm like, you got to be, because I, at that point, did not believe anything Shawn Michaels said. And yes, he probably did have a knee injury, and I'm pretty sure he did. And no, it wasn't career ending, obviously. The thing is, and as Lloyd's of London found out when they started insuring the wrestlers, any main event wrestler that was a veteran that had been around for a while could have a doctor examine them and find something wrong with them, to where when they showed the doctor a tape of what they did for a living and said, should I ever do this again? The doctor would say, not no, but fuck no, you should never do this again. It wasn't that uncommon. It's the question is whether you really wanted to do it again or not, or whether you wanted to do it at that particular time or not. And so less than 6 weeks from WrestleMania, Shawn Michaels calls fucking Vince, says, what's the doctor? Gonna need knee surgery. Could be career ending. And this is another reason why I've always said the Attitude Era. There were two eras. Part of it was good and part of it was bad. The Attitude Era that most people remember fondly is when these top guys like Steve Austin and Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels and Undertaker and everybody started really kind of talking to each other on television the way that you could kind of tell they really felt about each other and telling the truth. And that was not a byproduct of Vince Russo's brilliance. That was a byproduct of, in a lot of cases, Vince having a lot of fucking problem children that all of them had an attitude. Some of them were good. Most of them were somewhat bad. Most of them were selfish. If you said to Undertaker, what do you want to do, Taker? Well, he'd come up with something that could help himself and the company and someone else. If you did the same thing to a Shawn Michaels or a Kevin Nash or whatever, it would be all about them and what they didn't want to do and what they would do that would be good for them. But Vince talked to all these guys, and when he had time to plan things out a year in advance and overthink and overanalyze, you got the homogenized, pasteurized, sterile shit that Vince liked because it was all planned out and, done like it was supposed to be. When he didn't have time to overthink shit and something was sprung on him and he had to fucking do something, he talked to several people, everybody involved that he could think of, and then he would talk to Shawn and Bret on the phone or Undertaker on the phone or whoever on the phone. Then he'd talk to me and Bruce. Well, what do you think? Should we do this or that or the other thing? And he would have all these things in his head that he had heard. And then you would give your thoughts, and then you would see his wheels spinning, and he'd say, okay, here's what we're going to do. And then you filled in the blanks. So his creative team was never booking anything by itself. They were going by the information that Vince had assembled and the decision that he had made on the direction of the match or the angle or whatever the fuck, the rivalry, whatever, who was going to be champion, etc. Then you fill in the details. With the top guys, that's how he was, because that was the money. With the underneath shit, as long as it was not somebody that he just didn't give a shit about and didn't want on his TV, or you didn't violate one of his particular picadillos, he didn't edit anything for the underneath guys, because in the old days, it never mattered. That's why Shitstain was able to write all this shit, the underneath guys who were just happy and lucky to be there and happy to do whatever, not happy to do whatever, but willing to do whatever, say whatever. So underneath the Attitude Era that everybody remembers with the classic main event matches and big fucking angles and all that shit was all the dreck that the underneath guys were told to do. And that was the other half of the Attitude Era. That was unfiltered Vince Russo. The main event matches, the main event angles, the main event interviews, everything went through not only the fucking guys saying to Vince what they would and wouldn't do and what they did and didn't want to say, but then you had Pat Patterson helping with the matches and the finishes. And then you had JR getting the stories across. And then you had Vince himself sitting in on some of these big ones and making sure that everything was not only the way the boys were going to do it, but close to what he wanted as possible. That was where Russo's germs of ideas about Crash TV filtered into Vince's thinking, but he was always in charge of the top stuff. So there were two Attitude Eras. What drew the money was Vince being forced to let a lot of these guys be themselves just because he had no choice. And underneath was Goofus writing a bunch of stupid shit for the guys that couldn't say no. And the whole Attitude Era would be remembered just as fondly if all that underneath shit had never taken place. Anyway, so what we had was a situation where the champion now, the guy who had beat Bret for the title, and held it for a year and caused everybody all these problems with his fucking attitude. Now he decided his career was over, and he does the promo, and he did the promo he was supposed to do. I've been to the doctor. I've got a knee injury. A doctor told me I may never wrestle again. He was scheduled to fight Sid on that Raw special for the title that night, and basically, Michaels then goes into fucking business for himself, talking about how he gave everything of himself during his title reign, the heavy traveling, the public appearances, and he had lost his smile. He just didn't enjoy it anymore. So he gave a celebratory circle around the ring, slapping hands with the fans to make himself a little sympathetic figure, and fucking took his ball and went home. So now Gorilla Monsoon announces, and we had about a day or two to come up with this, that the winner of the Final Four match, which was a four-way match at the pay-per-view the following weekend in Chattanooga on February 16th, it was already booked. It just now, the world title is vacant, and the winner of that match is going to be fucking champion. So Bret Hart beats Vader, The Undertaker, and Steve Austin. What a fucking lineup. And that was, as I recall, a great match, but it also wasn't anything related to what was supposed to be happening, especially building to WrestleMania. And Bret was supposed to win that match so that he would then go and challenge the champion at WrestleMania. Now he's the champion. But now Vince has also decided that he doesn't have an attractive WrestleMania match besides versus Shawn Michaels featuring Bret Hart. And he decides because Steve Austin in his mind wasn't ready yet. And he decides in his mind that the money match would be Sid Vicious versus The Undertaker, because he always goes back to the big guys, and Taker's reliable and he knew he could do business. However, neither fucking Undertaker nor Sid Vicious was figured into this title picture. And so now Bret is the champion. So now they go to Raw the following night in Nashville, and Bret Hart loses the title to Sid, getting the title match he was supposed to have the previous fucking week, when Steve Austin interferes, because Steve Austin has been a heel to this point. So Steve Austin fucking interferes and goddamn causes Bret Hart to lose the title to Psycho Sid. And then The Undertaker challenges Sid for the title at WrestleMania. This is all on the fly. And I'm looking at several record books here because my booking book, I'm the one booking these fucking matches
one of the ones. And I didn't even change my fucking booking book. There was so much shit fucked up. I just said, fuck it. Nobody else gives a shit. Why should I? So I'm having to look at record books here, too, to see what actually did happen, even though it wasn't supposed to. And nevertheless, so anyway, then everybody goes to fucking, Germany and etc. and does a tour over there. And there's some domestic shows as well. But we finally get to WrestleMania 13 in Chicago at the Rosemont Horizon, March 23rd, 1997. And the main event is Undertaker versus Sid for the WWF title, which the Undertaker wins. And you got to remember at this point, people are thinking, wow, with these names, Undertaker, Bret Hart, Psycho Sid, blah, 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 and all these title changes. Yes, this did set up the aura that Raw was unpredictable. And it's a conventional wisdom, don't change the title all the fucking time like this, because then it makes it meaningless, and it makes being a champion meaningless. And everybody pointed to Tommy Rich being the NWA champion for 4 days. This specific month here of all these title changes, I didn't have a problem with, past the point that it wasn't planned and somebody was, for their own selfish purposes, was fucking up all of our business. But it actually, with that kind of talent and that kind of rivalry, and because it was something that never happened before, the WWF champion or the NWA champion was always champion for long periods of time in those days, because it created the aura that you were a legitimate champion. Everybody's talking about Adam Cole now, 404 days. You didn't get the NWA title in those days unless you were set for 2 to 4 years, as a matter of course. Bruno's shortest reign with the WWF title was 3.5 years. Backlund had it for 6. It didn't happen. So when it happened here with these guys, that did juice up ratings and interest. It wasn't, it's one of those things where if you do it, it registers because it's never been done before, and then don't do it again for years. Problem is, because this shit started working, everybody started doing more of it immediately. And now, if a guy has a title for a year, you think it's insane, because they used to switch in that fucking shit stain, got to the point where he saw this worked, didn't know why because he didn't understand it, and decided just switch the titles every week on TV because it doesn't make any difference. And that is when something is overused to the point where it means nothing. So anyway, Vince McMahon was forced into a position where guys had to start shooting with each other and talking more realistically about each other, because he was getting more input from these guys because shit was constantly changing. And at the time, Bret Hart had been a babyface, but he was starting to be more heelish because of his real life issue with Shawn Michaels, and also because the best promo work he ever did was Canada versus the USA, and he believed, and he was right, in that Canada did have better health care than the U.S. and did have more respectable people that had more respect for what he did, instead of the assholes that like to stick their finger up their nose like DX. All that shit was real. I find it again funny that the company that was pioneering and letting people know everything was bullshit kicked off the biggest success of their period in business with shit that the people knew was actually real. But I digress. So anyway, the card there for WrestleMania, The Undertaker and Sid was the main event for the title. Then they actually, in one of the only cases where they used the Road Warriors right, Ahmed Johnson and the Legion of Doom took on Farouk, Savio, and Crush in a Chicago street fight. And I remember the Road Warriors were pretty goddamn popular that night in their gimmick hometown. But underneath that, as well as, let's go with the whole card. The headbangers in the opening match defeated Henry and Phineas Godwin, Doug Furnace and Phil LaFawn, and Blackjack Wyndham and Blackjack Bradshaw in a 4-way match to earn a tag team title shot. So already, even 20-something years ago, they were making the tag team's job, guys. Rocky Maivia, the Intercontinental Champion, beat the Sultan, who was Fatu, who would later be Rikishi, when he was managed by the Iron Sheik and Mr. Bob Backlund. Triple H beat Goldust, Chyna and Marlena in the respective corners. Owen Hart and Davey Boy Smith did a double countout with Mankind and Vader for the WWF Tag Team title. Owen and Davey, I think, were the last team of consisting of top guys that held the tag team titles. And then it was just Job Guy Central from that point out. And then the match we're going to watch today, Bret Hart against Steve Austin in a submission match with guest referee Ken Shamrock. And Shamrock was in this because obviously he was just starting with the company and we wanted to play up his UFC and mixed martial arts ultimate fighting background. And he was the submission expert. This is this guy's fucking line of work. And plus he and Bret were close. So it was a great way to introduce him, I thought. But it added further credibility to the match that these guys were going to have. And the reason why I've always liked this match, it's been probably my favorite WWF match overall, is because it felt like, even back in the 90s, the WWF matches to me, having been an NWA fan, were always the building's so clean, the lights were so bright, the mat was so clean and sparkling, everything was so sterile. You couldn't get a feeling of legitimate violence and hatred and blood and snot and anger like you could in the NWA matches. That's why I didn't like them as much. These guys had a match in this one that would have, to me, been in place, and I told them both this, at Starrcade or a big Florida show for Eddie Graham or a big Superdome show for Bill Watts or whatever. It was that good a fucking match. It was a better pro wrestling match than anything. And there was a lot of great pro wrestlers in the WWF at this time, but this was a pro wrestling style match, a territory style match. And it just hooked me. So business wise, we've talked about the card. I will go to my book now because business wise, just so everybody knows, even though business was not yet hopping, the Rosemont Horizon sold out, $837,000 house even. The seating capacity was 18,211. I'm sure there were comps in there. I'm not sure what was paid, but it was sold out. Ed Cohen ran the live event department at that time, and he had Bob Collins was his WrestleMania promoter, and but Mike Ivanko was one of the local promoters. He had a great local promotion department. So if they needed to fill a building, even in the depths of horrible business, if they needed to fill a building for a major pay-per-view, they'd fucking fill it. I mentioned the house was $837,000. The rent on the Rosemont Horizon was $75,000 flat, including the costs of the TV rights fees originating live TV from there. Now that was building rent. That didn't include ticketing and staffing and expenses. There was a $185,000 advertising budget. That just wasn't for the market of Chicago. That was for the country marketing WrestleMania. And the tickets were $300 for the front row. You got to take the chair home, $100, $45, $35, and $20 for the big card. And Flash Funk took on Billy Gunn in the free-for-all match on the pay-per-view pregame show. What else should we talk about to let people know what was going on at this? Oh, and the pay-per-view business. This was the lowest pay-per-view buy rate that WrestleMania had done since it had been a thing, attributed to the fact that as much as fucking Vince thought Sid looked great, Sid never drew any fucking money. Shawn just wanted to work with him because he wouldn't hurt him like Vader, because Sid would be careful with Shawn. And Vince liked him because his fucking body was enormous. But with that switch from Michaels to Bret 6 weeks out, and the derailing of all the plans may have laid seeds that led to other guys getting over in the future, but it cost that particular WrestleMania event millions of dollars because Shawn Michaels lost his smile. Vince wasn't smiling that much either when he got the fucking pay-per-view buy rate back. So while the live event did well, the pay-per-view, it was the worst. Is it still the worst WrestleMania of all time? Or did they do another one that sucked worse in the early 2000s?
I can't remember.
I'm not sure if anything did worse that I could remember.
Okay, so yeah, so that shows you what. And by the way, just so we go further down the road here, let's go to SummerSlam, which was in August that year. Oh goddamn no, I got the wrong book. It doesn't go to August. Sorry about that, Chief. The previous. We did SummerSlam 96, but the buy rate, I think, for SummerSlam 96 was even better. When Shawn convinced Vince that Vader wasn't going to draw and the buy rate wasn't any good, give me Sid. Then he pulls out on the goddamn thing right before WrestleMania, and the buy rate of WrestleMania was worse than SummerSlam the year before. Anyway, what else do the people need to know?
I guess the only other big point I would make is that Steve Austin won King of the Ring in 96.
Yeah.
And then Bret Hart was gone, and he comes back for Survivor Series. And that's really the big match of Steve Austin after King of the Ring. Steve Austin versus Bret Hart at Survivor Series. Fantastic match. Really a great match. It would be hard to top that match. And somehow they completely topped it here at WrestleMania.
And I'm looking up the, where the fuck did it go? Survivor Series. The Steve Austin, God, this print is so small.
At Madison Square Garden, also the debut of Rocky Maivia that night.
Yeah, and as a matter of fact, I was doing commentary on that, was I not? On Rocky's debut? I believe I was. Anyway, the Austin match, the result, I'm trying to find it. The goddamn Bret Hart pinned Steve Austin at 28-34. Austin had caught him in the Cobra Clutch because he was still using that since DiBiase had used it as the $1 Million Dream, and DiBiase had been Austin's manager, and Bret did the thing where he kicked off the top turnbuckle and went backwards over the top of him. But it was a tremendous fucking match, and it elevated Austin further at that point. Anyway, so otherwise than that,
and I guess
are we ready to do this?
The only other note is that Steve Austin was clearly the heel leading into that match. However, you started to see and hear more fans cheering for Steve Austin between Survivor Series and WrestleMania. So
yes.
Coming into this match, Bret Hart, who had been the classic babyface for years, wasn't as popular as he had been because Austin was now getting that, what would you call it? He was getting that anti-authority babyface pop everywhere he went.
And it also with Bret, he was getting more and more pointed, and the thing with Michaels was real, and Michaels was a babyface, so some people were starting to take sides to begin with. Austin's getting popular, whereas Bret is starting to get more of an edge to him, but they couldn't just come out and Bret couldn't start kicking fucking babies and Austin couldn't start kissing old ladies. So in this match, and here's the thing about a finish. You can give somebody a finish. If they don't know what they're doing, it doesn't matter. The finish was what was given to these guys so that Austin would come out as a gutsy and more sympathetic figure because he wouldn't quit and he wouldn't give up, but he passed out. So still Austin is not beating Bret. But once Pat Patterson got with him, and they started polishing things and they knew where they needed to go. If Bret Hart didn't know how to work and all he knew how to do was be babyface Bret Hart, this match wouldn't have worked. If Steve Austin didn't know how to work and all he knew how to do was be heel Steve Austin, it wouldn't have worked either. But because they had a match that slowly and without anybody even realizing it in the building until they were into it, led you as an observer to start rooting for the bad guy, Steve Austin, and hoping that he beat the good guy, Bret Hart. And by the end of it, both of them were in exactly the perfect position they needed to be going forward because of not one major thing they did, but because of the match they had and all the things they did that put that thought in people's mind to build up to the finish that cemented it. Did I say that in a way that makes sense?
I believe so, yes.
Okay. So it's a double turn, but it wasn't like the fucking double turn of the Midnight Express and the Road Warriors in New Orleans, where the Road Warriors just came out and were pricks from the start, and we had already been kind of babyface and, the whole 9 yards. This was starting from scratch, and the fans had no idea that this is the way the twist this was going to take. All right. Now you fill them in on the technical part.
Okay, for this one, we are on the WWE Network. You will be going to WrestleMania 13 under the WWE Pay-Per-View tab at the top of the screen. You have the option to jump to Steve Austin, or as it says here, Stone Cold versus Bret Hart submission match. It's also at 1 hour, 20 minutes, and 59 seconds into the event. 1:20:59. 1 hour, 20 minutes, and 59 seconds into the event. If you're someone watching a bootleg performance of WrestleMania here, we're on a wide shot of the ring before the entrances. And I think that's about it. What we'll do is a 5-second countdown, and then I will say press play now, at which point we will press play once again. 1 hour, 20 minutes, and 59 seconds into WrestleMania 13 on the WWE Network. Jim, are you ready?
I am standing by.
Ladies and gentlemen, countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Press play now.
And here we go, ladies and gentlemen, the zoom in on the wide shot. I was going to watch this again because obviously I watched it at the monitor the night it happened. There's Shamrock, and good God, look at those fucking arms and that medium girl size referee shirt that makes him look even bigger. And remember that he was just starting. So this was going to be pretty much the first taste that everybody had of Shamrock. Yeah. I was going to watch this because I watched it at the monitor that night, and I've watched the tape a few times in the few years afterwards. I haven't seen this whole thing all the way through in years and years, but I thought, well, we'll just do it together.
And Shamrock being here was a sign of just how quickly the UFC had gotten in the last couple of years.
Yeah. And look at Austin. This is what I talk about. You just see guys with game faces. This could be a UFC walkout. He's serious. He looks like he's going into something. He's all business. He looks like a fucking badass. He doesn't look like a fucking middle school child or somebody going out to engage in a performance. And look at the fucking face. And he was already starting to get over, just like fucking, Jackie Fargo did, just like Buddy Rogers did, just like all the fucking great heels that finally became institutions did, is that you would get over with the people because you were badass and you didn't take any shit. And so you already see not only the Austin signs, but you see the Hart signs because, as we said, he's still a babyface. But look at that fucking look. Do you think that guy's come out here to perform and do what he's told? It's all about the perception of people when they're just seeing something, not when they're studying it, but when they're seeing it. And he's jawing with Shamrock to make sure that everybody knows this guy this badass just came from the UFC. Well, I'm as bad as he is. I'm going to get up in his face. What's he going to do about it? And Vince was easy to sell on Shamrock because he didn't know anything about the UFC, but I'd worked with Ken Shamrock when he was Vince Torelli in the Carolinas in 1991. He had the wrestling background then. It's not like he didn't know what he was doing. And then, boy, I long for the days of the simpler sets. Remember these things? Now you could put that in the back of one of the trucks they haul the equipment to the fucking shows with. But there was more room for people in the arenas. We needed it back then. Look at Bret. He's serious. These guys are going out there to do something important for a lot of money in front of a lot of people, and the vibe they give off tells you that. I mean, now it's almost like it looks as different when the guys walk to the ring and the attitude they have as the matches do. And I thought Bret was always trying to find the kid to give the glasses to, but this was not an enthusiastic sunglass handoff, was it? It was like, I got to do this. I'm supposed to do this. Here it is.
And it is a lot more effective having him come out and you could see them at the same level of the fans. They kicked it.
Boom! And there we go. And because the people were ready for this, because, as we just talked about in the setup, he's been screwed out of his fucking chance at the title and a blah, 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 and they're mad at each other. and they've got something to fucking prove. And the only way this match is going to be over with is if somebody fucking quits. Boom. Boom. The body language, the fucking... It's hard to punch a bald-headed guy, but Bret does it here quite well. But... And everybody's going to say, well, Cornette, you hate when all the matches immediately go to the floor. Yeah, that's because that's what all of them do now. This was a co-main event, one of the top matches at WrestleMania. And it's a grudge match, and they're fucking mad at each other. So yeah, let's go outside the ring a little bit and fight around the floor.
Did anyone have to coach Shamrock about how to be a referee here?
Well, I mean, obviously the spots that pertain, the fucking, the guy there in the orange jacket almost got kicked. The spots that pertained to him, they went over to make sure that he knew exactly what was going on. Tony Atlas, by the way, and Lou Albano. That's why they picked that corner.
And Blackjack Brown.
Yeah, Baird Blackjack. But anyway, no, they went over the specific spots, but he'd worked, he'd wrestled, he knew the basic gist of refereeing, and plus... the whole idea was for him to be there specifically because he knew submissions. And now here they go. And they would not get away with this in the publicly traded days now.
And to you younger fans, you didn't see this typically.
No,
you watched a wrestling match.
This.
Yeah.
You never saw this in the WWF. Guys fighting outside the barricade. And you won't see it now. Well, even when people come back because they're a publicly traded company. But back then... it was a wrestling war, and we're going to do this wild shit. And you see, but here's all the assholes that don't care about the fight that just want to get on camera. That's another reason why I never liked this shit, because then you can see people smiling and laughing instead of fucking being shocked at the fight. And that's an expose. So even though the guys are fucking working hard here, and also this was before they realized, oh, I hope I don't have to do another one of these. Who is that? I don't know. We'll find out. The reason why that they ended up, this looked so hokey when they did it later on, is because they figured out they had to have multiple security guards. See, right now they got a couple of guys in jackets there and Ken Shamrock, but they need multiple security guards, not to make sure that the guys don't get stabbed anymore, but to make sure that the fucking people don't get hurt and sued. See, look at people laugh. That's why I never like this, because you see people smiling. If they were really fucking fighting, they wouldn't be smiling. I've been out in a bunch of fucking crowds in wrestling matches briefly, and they weren't smiling. They were trying to get us. But anyway, having said that, back to the fucking match. You never saw this shit. This is completely out of control. A no DQ match in the WWF was still fucking romper room time back in the mid-90s. So this was a nod to the ECW fans, because this was starting to be a thing. And also to show they were out of control. But goddamn, I wouldn't want to be in there, even if I was the baby face. Because you never know when you're going to get a foot in the eye, somebody fall on you, take your fucking leg out or whatever. So this is dangerous shit. And I'm glad they're getting back to the ring, because now we can really be professionals. Austin wearing that knee brace, I got to be honest, I was especially after the neck injury too, I was always fucking nervous when Austin was working, when he was the golden goose, because, you know, he was on borrowed time in a lot of those cases. He gutted out a lot of fucking injuries and shit. But I was always afraid that, you know, something was going to be the big one, and he was keeping everybody in fucking groceries at that point.
Oh yeah, they went public on the back of Steve Austin.
Yeah. So anyway, once again, you can see right now, Austin being so aggressive, even though Bret took him out in the fucking crowd, et cetera, et cetera. Austin with the fucking flip off, and they're talking to each other now about something, and the stairs gimmick. Austin being more aggressive. Austin doing all this shit, taking it to Bret is subliminally, you know, normally the babyface shines all the way through at the start, and the fucking heel is a coward. This ain't happening. These guys are just mad at each other, right? So already you can see that the people can think, wow, at fucking Austin, he's going toe-to-toe with a guy that's been a main event guy around here for 10 years. That
post thing didn't work. I don't know what was going on there. They're trying to I think somebody's lobbying to do something here, and now okay, we're on the same page. Anyway.
That pink sign you just saw that said Bret Who is a good example of how the fans were slowly turning these guys before they actually turned these guys.
Yeah, because you would have thought that they would have gone for Bret against Shawn Michaels, because Shawn was just such a fucking, the whole heartbreak kid dancing male stripper thing. But when they started just being wise asses, a lot of these the guys that age liked wise asses. So they started liking the DX thing. But look, boom, everything crisp. Look at Austin's face. It's an elbow, but he's selling it. All these guys are crisp. Bret always looked, he's not blown up here, but he looks blown up because he's got that expression, but it looks like he's in some kind of fucking fight. And now they slow it down and they start working in the ring. Now, yes, Bret's nominally the babyface and he's shining, but at the same time, he's doing the kind of shit there's Flair's leg move. He's doing heelish shit. He's walking around with a heelish attitude, and there's the heel selling on the mat like he's in grave pain. So they're starting to tell this story, but at the same time, it doesn't look like anybody is doing anything out of character for themselves. They're just mad at each other. But subliminally, that's the message they're trying to send to people. And fucking Shamrock didn't skip leg day either, did he? He was fucking in shape back then.
I'll tell you, Bret's in great shape here, too.
Yeah, well, can you find anybody practically on an independent show today that is a grown adult man the size of Bret Hart or Steve Austin, either one, much less Ken Shamrock? I mean, that's...
No, wrestling will be a better place if kids today watch more Bret Hart and less Shawn Michaels.
Yeah, there you go. And now look at, once again, Austin, he's set, and now he moves the leg, and Bret, that's a heel fucking thing. He's selling his ass. And look at, Austin goes for the stunner, but he can't capitalize because of the fucking leg, and he's writhing in pain. But look at him groveling and writhing. Look at the way Austin was instantly, he was selling, but he was staying alive. He was always moving. He wasn't just a dead body on the mat. But when Bret was working on his leg, he was selling. Now he's trying to get to his feet, but he's still mobile and moving and staggering, and he's selling the fucking leg. Oh, my God. And he thought he had it, but Bret goes back to the fucking leg. There's an effort being made to look like that he's trying to still attack, even though he's got this bad wheel, and Bret is trying to stay on it like a fucking rabid dog. And now this is the first time ever for the figure four around the post in the WWF. And Bret, matter of fact, Bret said years later, it was a rib on him. That's why he started having the referee fucking catch him, because every time he'd put it on, he'd bash the back of his head on the floor as he just did there. Even matted, that was still a fucking blow. So sometimes he'd have the referee trying to act like he was trying to stop him, and really he would catch Bret's momentum downward and let him down easy. Anyway, Austin was selling there like he was goddamn having a fucking red hot poker shoved up his ass.
And there's Stu and Helen, the front row.
Yep. Stu and Helen right behind, right there on the right-hand side. In big buildings, you had to learn to sell not just with your face, but with your body, because the people couldn't see your fucking face in a 15,000 seat building if they were up in the cheap seats. And now I can't even remember the commentary at this point, but I believe this is the part where they're going, we can't believe Bret Hart. They're basically stunned that he's being this much of an animal and this fucking vicious and etc. And they've already done the Pillman of the chair thing had already been done by the Pillmaning, the ankle. Pillmaning the ankle had been done by Austin. I think the previous month or two is recently somehow. Didn't he do that first?
I don't know if it was a month or two, but yeah, he definitely had done it before.
Yeah, so this is Bret was going to come off the top, but Austin, boom, one shot. Bret Hart's that. Look at the people now. Look at the people in the bleachers there, starting to hold their hands up and now here's Austin, and look at that goddamn fire.
And now he's got a chair, and there's no DQ here. Fuck you. Boom. And look at Bret sell it. My God, he's folded up backwards. And now people are starting to fucking clap and stand up a little bit. Austin gets his time to come back. And Bret always took such great buckles, backwards, forwards, whatever. He had that old Calgary style, Dynamite Kid, those guys that did that shit. And obviously they have their match layout. They know the big spots, but they're calling this as they go along, the specific things in between, and you can't tell the fucking difference. Boom! Look at that. But one shot with a chair. Who did it on All Petite Wrestling the other night? Hit a guy 7 times with a chair, didn't beat him? Or was that NXT? Boom! Now Austin does Bret's thing. And he's still fucking halfway favoring that fucking leg. And now Bret's in trouble. And notice, by the way, the bell is laying there on the apron of the ring. It's still in play. And look, that's one thing. The fucking technical crew in this company, even then, they could find the fucking shots. And there's a little bit of spot calling. If I don't point it out, you wouldn't notice. It goes right by everybody because these guys were professionals. They didn't have to remember shit. That's how they could concentrate on their facial expressions. They remembered the high spots, the points they were going to do. They remembered the finish. And then the moves and selling and everything in between was done completely on the fly, completely fucking extemporaneously as it happened.
Who would have been calling it? Because usually the heel calls a match, but I mean, Bret always took his matches so seriously.
Well, in this case, and I wasn't in the ring, but in this case, it was a mutual respect thing where I think Bret, obviously Pat Patterson sat down with him, and everybody knew that either one was free to help Shamrock if he needed it. And I think Bret was the captain, but Austin was chiming some things in when something needed to be done because they hadn't worked together a million times. So they didn't know each other that well. But the point is, you can't tell. I see guys now either memorizing fucking spots ridiculously, a 30-minute match memorized step by step in the back in the locker room over a several-hour period, which is why they all look like the guys are wandering through a routine, or you see guys go in the corner and have a fucking discussion they ought to be having over coffee and donuts for so long because they're trying to communicate something on the fly and they don't know how. This is a combination of we know where we're going and we know part of the places we're going to get there, and a lot more of it's going to be on the fly with what the people are buying. Steve trying to put Bret's hold on, but he didn't know how to put it on. But he wasn't going to get it all the way anyway until Bret fucking gouged his eyes. So there you go. But it was the idea they're each trying to do the other guy's shit and embarrass the other guy and beat the other guy. And Austin, the toughest guy, right now, he would be the fucking baddest ass on the planet in any wrestling promotion. And he's sold more than Ricky Morton in this match. Look at him. And whoosh. Nice bump, but safe. And he's still favoring the leg, but he's getting stronger.
And he's playing to the crowd.
And Shamrock checking on Bret down there to give him a chance to fucking Austin to get his glory. And I believe here, if I'm not mistaken, the juice spot's coming up, or is it not? Or was that Hugo? Is that Hugo?
That's not Hugo, no.
Is that not Hugo? Who is that?
I don't know.
It's Bob Clark. That's Bob Clark. Camera hog. Boom.
Those annoying people in the fluorescent neon shirts.
Yeah, they were a nice couple. They were always nice to me. I thought the juice was coming up here, but maybe a little bit later. But nevertheless.
Napolitano in the second row.
No, there it was. But okay. Because here's the thing. When Bret took that nice safe bump out, I thought I saw it. He took the nice safe bump out on the floor. He pulled his blade off of his wrist, and he got it for fucking Steve. That's how they nobody saw it. Because you're looking for the guy to do his own thing, not the other way around. So Anyway, now the fucking heel is bleeding and selling again. The babyface is being real vicious. Look at that body language.
How many guys trusted other guys to cut them? I mean, you talked about it in the Jericho match. He didn't want the bodies to do it.
Well, I think it's not that he didn't trust him. It's like, more or less, I've already fucked this match up and probably my career. I broke my arm. I'll get my own juice, right? Mommy, I can do it myself. It depended on who the fucking guy was. I'd trust Bret. I wouldn't trust Shawn. Some guys are more experienced, and sometimes you did that because that way you didn't see the fucking guy doing it himself. But also there's guys like the Sheik and some other people that would take advantage of that. Anyway, boom, now Bret is working full-fledged heel, working on a fucking guy's cut. Look at Austin selling. He looks like he's fucking legitimately fucked up. Shamrock's concerned. This is starting to look like an NWA match. Help me tell the people there was not this level of seriousness in 90s WWF at this point.
There wasn't this level of blood. I mean, there was no blood for the most part in WWF, and there wasn't much serious stuff. Again, the main event is Undertaker and Sid.
Yeah. And that's not a knock at The Undertaker.
I mean, just look at the goofy little WWF logo, which was, more family-friendly at this point in time.
Yeah.
In the lower left-hand corner.
Look at Austin. They ought to say selling like Steve Austin, because look at that. He's crawling. The facial expression, the body language, he's still leaving himself open to everything, but it doesn't look so obvious. This is what the art is, folks. Now Bret's going to fucking go for the sharpshooter, and at least he knows how to fucking put it on. but look, it comes that fucking Austin does everything he can to try to get out of it, because at that point panic sets in. He's going to get his finish on me. I won't be able to get out of this. I've got to fucking escape. There's an element of desperation. If we had audio now, you would start to hear the announcers get more behind Austin and be, not obviously leading people, but reacting to what the people are doing. And at the same time, you hear the people get, man, look at Bret being vicious. This is not smiling. And they fucking blew for a kick to the balls by the heel. They popped and cheered because it was called for. Bret Hart, the guy who gave his sunglasses to fucking children and was the hero of Canada, suddenly is beating a piss out of this bald-headed guy that's bleeding like a stuck hog. And boy, that's kind of out of character for Bret. Holy shit. And look at Steve pull himself up to his feet. I used to have to, in OVW, I'd have to teach classes with guys on how to pull themselves up to their feet with the ropes. And boom, and that's a nice buckle. And now look at Steve Austin. That's what got Steve Austin over right there. That fire, that head shake, and that I'm going to beat your fucking ass, motherfucker look. Look, and then early stomp in the mud hole. How can you not like that guy as a kick-ass babyface? And look at him staggering. And he still comes back. This is fucking pro wrestling, folks. It's not children doing flips and catching each other when they do their fucking funny dives. It's guys beating the piss out of each other, and you want to see who's going to win. I could have gone without the superplex, but at the same time, that wasn't overdone then either. I'm so used to being, oh, fuck, they got to get up on the top rope, but that wasn't overdone at that point either. By the way, The Rock and Steve Austin in 2001 grossed $50 million in one night, and neither one of them came off top rope. Just a footnote there. Anyway, that was a little go outside, and Bret didn't quite hear it, and fucking he doesn't know what Steve's going to do, and Steve's looking for something. And okay, there you go. Let's get some fucking cable. Steve worked Memphis. Some of this stuff he probably just remembered from seeing on the fucking fly in a few of the territories he worked. And I guess what he wanted Bret on the apron. And he was trying to say to go out on the apron when he was throwing him out, and Bret wasn't getting it quite, so it was a little awkward. But now he's saying, hit me with the bell. Boom. Bam. You never saw this kind of fucking violent bullshit going on in the WWF at that point. That's why it got over. Things that you don't ever see, when you do see them, they shock and amaze you. Now, it looked like Austin was going to fucking take it, and he had Bret fucking strung up and hung out to dry, and suddenly the ring bell to the fucking head that's already bleeding, and now here's the finish that he's won the world title with, that he's goddamn beaten everybody with. Austin ain't going to fucking give up. He's bleeding like a stuck hog. When was the last time they had this level of blood on a WWF pay-per-view before this?
Before this?
Or was this the first one?
Maybe Flair versus Randy Savage at WrestleMania 8, maybe? I'm sure I'm forgetting something, but...
And look, and Shamrock's checking him, and Austin's fading, but look at that face. This is what made Steve Austin. This visual of Bret Hart with that sharpshooter on, and Austin with the blood coming out of his head, and the fucking... Remember, there was no tap out then. You had to say, I quit and give up. This was before the tap out got... That's right there. That picture is what made Steve Austin. The blood, the face, he won't give up. Bret Hart's got him. He's too gutsy. He's not going to fucking admit defeat. He fucking gets out of it this time. He's overbalanced Bret, but Bret hangs on. Holy shit. And again, and look, and normally when Flair kept the figure 4 on so many guys for so long, it just became a transition spot and didn't mean anything. And it just meant that the figure 4 couldn't beat anybody. But Bret having this hold on that long with Austin selling it like that and finally passing out. Boom, there it is. Shamrock calls it off. He didn't give up. He never said, I quit. He passed out. And that's the age-old way that you sell a babyface's story. He would rather have been permanently injured than give up. He passed out from the blood loss and the pain rather than fucking tell Bret Hart he was the better man. And now Bret with that fucking expression on his face and you've completed a double turn where the guy heel going in is now a babyface. The guy babyface going in is now a heel. Neither one did anything that their character, if you want to say that word, that they would not do if they were really who they were purported to be, but they had a reason for being mad and going too far. And now you can blame Bret Hart for going too far. And now Bret Hart has a bitch. Like every babyface that switches heel, it has to come from something real. He has to have some kind of gripe. He's like, all I've done for you people, and this fucking Austin with his middle finger and his fuck the boss and everything, you fucking cheer him, you boo me, fuck you Americans. In Canada, we take care of our old and our sick. And that's how that whole thing came to be, because it was real. And I look, taking the cheap shots afterwards, because we got to get Shamrock a bit involved here as somebody who's going to keep fucking order. Bret goes back for it again. He's not going to, and Austin's defenseless, helpless. And that's all that needs to happen. World's most dangerous man, Ken Shamrock, fresh in from the UFC, fucking suplexes him and dumps him, says we can go. And now Bret, who's just switched heel and beat the piss out of Steve Austin, he's had this long match. He's like, I don't know if I want to try this or not. But the Bret Hart of old would have never backed down. But the Bret Hart of a different attitude says, well, we'll just do this later. It's subliminal, simple psychology. That's the way you manipulate people's emotions. You don't dive into goddamn broken glass and gravel and barbed wire, fucking flip around and catch everybody like a goddamn cheerleading squad. And he's still, he's shaking it for the people who want to put a hand out. He's slapping hands, and the guy says, fuck you. He gives a finger to. This was the start of the transition. It didn't just happen overnight. We went from hero to zero instantly. And he's the one that left the ring first so that they could leave Austin there so that, and if Shamrock gets out, when Austin gets back to his feet, he's like, fuck you, I don't need any help. Poor Mike Chioda, there's the stunner, boom. And he's leaving under his own, but look at that selling. But he's going to leave that fucking ring under his own power. And those people are like, God damn, this guy's the real deal. Everything fucking worked. And he's still selling the leg.
Who sells anymore?
I know it looks so odd to have somebody actually selling something. Once the match is over, aren't they supposed to hug and kiss? And fucking take a picture that they can send out on Twitter and talk about how great it was to work with each other? Yeah. Austin's like, fuck you guys. This ain't over. I'm going to limp my way to the back. And he was going to milk that for every fucking limp. Made him an extra fan in that building. That's a master of psychology. And you could have that match today, and it would probably get over even stronger because it would be so much more of a departure from what everybody's used to seeing that it would resonate particularly well. They'd probably believe, my God, he really blew his knee. Aren't they going to hold up the X? And look, they kept the camera on him all the way back.
Well, there it is.
Go.
There it is. WrestleMania 13, Bret and Steve Austin. One of the greatest matches in wrestling history. Maybe the greatest WrestleMania match of all time.
I believe so. That's why we watched it.
Look at all that blood.
And as a matter of fact, after the Stone Cold versus Bret Hart submission match, they even have a little fucking, so you can see the tail of it, where Austin limps out after Bret leaves, says the WWE Universe sides with Stone Cold as the ending of that match, because it was such an important part of the modern day. Like you said, they went public off of Steve Austin. This was a memorable moment and an historic occasion when, and a lot of people will think, well, if Austin was getting popular with the people before that at King of the Ring 96, why didn't they turn him before that? Before early 97, the whole reason he was getting popular was because he was being who the people thought was himself. Stone Cold, don't give a shit about anybody, don't trust anybody. That guy would probably be a heel. And that's the way that he was able to present himself in such a way that he did get over as an anti-hero. But then when the anti-hero gets so popular because of his badass, don't give a shit attitude, then at some point he has to become a hero, but he can't change and start kissing babies and fucking handing out his sunglasses. So you have to do it in such a way that he doesn't change, his circumstances do. The people he's interacting with do. So then the heel that switches babyface successfully does all the shit that he used to do to the babyfaces, but he does them to the other heels. And that's the attraction. You get a hot heel that's been a prick and a badass and a main event guy for a long time, and he switches babyface. The attraction, as long as you can keep it, is that he's going to do all those dirty things. He's going to use the foreign objects. He's going to cheat. He's going to lie. He's going to steal, but he's going to do it to the other heels, and they deserve it. And that's why that fucking babyface gets over like that. And then after a while, you give him a few human qualities. You have to eventually. But whenever a heel switches babyface and instantly starts to work like a smiling babyface, he's dead in the fucking water because it's phony and the people know it. And that's not why they liked him to begin with. I.e. Diesel, badass bodyguard, Diesel, smiling, sweater-wearing WWF champion. So that's a lesson in psychology for today, folks.
I kept this thing playing. We got the Nation of Domination. I forgot they had Clarence Mason. It's Farouk, Savio, and Crush with PG-13 rapping, and D'Lo's still in a suit. He's not yet officially a wrestler. He's still just one of the generic Nation guys who takes all the bumps.
I got him in as a posse member with every group I could till he finally got a full-time job.
It's true. It's true.
I did, because he was always right there ready to do anything. I said, sooner or later, they're going to reward him because all these other fucks are going to fuck up. But anyway, but yeah, this was a change where the new young guys that were different faces, but were talents that had better attitudes, that not only wanted to succeed, but knew that they could succeed if the company succeeded, that took the place of the entitled pricks that were worried about their contract and their guaranteed money, the Nashes, the Halls, the Michaels, and the old guard of WWF from the 80s that, learned from Hogan, the selfishness and et cetera, and the new young guys that wanted to, the Mick Foley, that wanted to help the company and wanted to fucking succeed. And Bret was an old guard member, but he was still a company guy. I don't put him in with the fucking bad attitudes. It was a rough transition, but after a couple of years, we got rid of most of the fucking assholes, and most of the people on top wanted to contribute. But it was just, and part of the chaos, as we said, we saw with this, part of the chaos led to part of the serendipitous good shit that happened. But a lot of this was not planned, and a lot of it, that's why I was on the creative team too. I scoff at fucking shit stains fucking claims of what he contributed to this, because I know what mine were and weren't, and what kind of contributions you were allowed to have. When Vince told you, if Vince tells you what you're fucking going to cook and then you come up with the recipe, it's not the same as if you get to determine the menu. That's why nobody's ever seen whether Bruce Pritchard's a good booker or not. He's never booked anything by himself. If we've seen,
he's not.
Well, I'm just saying. Unfortunately, Pat Patterson was a good booker, but then he got to, where he was like everybody else. He was coming up with shit that Vince would like rather than stuff that, you would do if it was just you. But we've seen Russo unedited, unfiltered. That was the underneath shit, the choppy my pee-pee of the Attitude Era. But Vince McMahon back against the wall, having to listen to some of his talent, listening to some of the right talent, and having guys like Pat Patterson to help lay it out and JR to explain it, etc., and listening to the right people, that's when you get Bret Hart and Steve Austin. And so, I laugh at some of the people who take credit for some things, because a lot of this was collaborative effort with the guys involved, and a lot of it was just shit that happened because it was a way we figured out how to get out of other shit. If this had been planned, it would have been brilliant. But none of the Attitude Era origination was planned. It was basically reacting off shit that you couldn't control.
I still have the next match going. It was the Nation versus LOD, or Road Warriors, as we used to
the
know
street
them.
fight.
And Ahmed, the entire Hart family contingent is gone from the front row.
Yeah. Well, they didn't stay all night. They just stayed for their boys' match. And LOD, as I recall, did get a heck of a fucking pop when they came out.
Oh, yeah, well,
Chicago, baby. But anyway, there you have it. Any other questions about Bret Hart and Steve Austin?
No.
And why that nothing else today looks like that, because nobody's as good as they are?
Watching a match like that reminds me why I love wrestling so much. And reminds me why I don't enjoy it that much anymore when we watch it each and every Wednesday.
All right, well, then it's your show. Close it to fuck up.
We'll return to a song next week, but we've run along this week. We've run along once again. This has been the real pandemic involved with the show. We run along every week now. But of course, you can hear the experience when it debuts on Friday, wherever you find your favorite podcasts, or go to the official Jim Cornette YouTube channel, over 150,000 strong now, subscribing to the channel. tinyurl.com/official corny YouTube, or just go to YouTube and search for Jim Cornette for full episodes, clips of episodes, and omnibus collections, the official Jim Cornette YouTube channel. You can access classic episodes of the Drive Thru and the Experience by becoming a patron. Patreon.com/Cornette. For only $5 a month, you get access to the archive of these shows. We are now in 2015. New episodes go up each and every week. Patreon.com/Cornette. You can follow Jim on Twitter at the Jim Cornette. You can follow me on Twitter at Great Brian Last. You can hear me on the 605 Superpodcast, 605pod.com, available wherever you find your favorite podcasts. Cornette's Collectibles at jimcornette.com. There may be free extras like pens and flashlights or whatever else you mentioned earlier. Coming soon. So order today, jimcornette.com. The Drive-Thru is brought to you by the Law Office of Stephen P. New, 888-692-8084. Get even with Stephen at newlawoffice.com. But until Friday on The Experience, and next week right here back on the Drive-Thru, for Jim Cornette, I'm the very pleasant Great Brian Last. Tally-ho!